It's Season 3 with me, Matt.
And me, Neil.
And me, Sam.
Welcome to this instalment of the Adeptus Terra podcast.
Strap in and relax.
Come and get your monthly hit of 3 idiots hooked on that plastic crack.
We hope you enjoy the chaos you're about to experience. Hello and welcome to Season 3, Episode 3. Woohoo!
I can't get comfortable.
Oh no. Oh no.
I feel like I'm falling into the sofa. Hang on.
You look like you're sinking in the middle.
Yeah.
Why are you sat
Sinking
Why are you
in the
not
middle.
sat to one
Is that a
side?
weight joke?
No. It's just he's literally sitting right in the middle of the sofa where it's not best supported
okay.
But
cushions-wise.
this is how all the people sit in the in the
movies?
videos.
In the videos?
Videos. What videos are you watching?
Why would you not sit to one side where it's...
Weirdly, there's normally people surrounding you from the back, but it's...
You're right there, Matt.
Welcome to Episode 3. Trainwreck, as always.
I'm really glad that one landed with Matt.
That was brilliant. That was such a good joke. Oh, God.
Sorry.
Right. Well, we've got lots planned for you. We've got our usual Legion of 3, what we've been up to, a bit of feedback from our kind of diving into Kill Team, albeit slowly. And we also have our first ever faction focus brought to you by Sam.
I'm so excited.
It's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, we're going to talk about the Astra Militarum Codex, some of the new things in that, and have some fun together. Oh, it feels like forever, gentlemen.
It has been.
Has it been long?
And
I don't think
We are recording a week later.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's true. It is a week late.
I'm going to lean to one side. I think that might be it. There we go. Hang on, I'll pull my shorts down so it doesn't look like I'm naked.
I feel like we need to take a picture just to sort of go, this is why Sam is struggling today.
I don't know what it
Be
is.
leaning into the corner where all the cushions are. That would obviously help.
Maybe I'll move.
I think you should move to your right.
Right. Well, while Sam moves, our next hobby hangout before we get into what we've been up to in this month gap between episodes is going to be on the 27th of April. That's the last Sunday of the month. On recording, we have one tomorrow, end of March, but they're always on the last Sunday of the month, unless there's other than like Christmases, New Year, that kind of time. We're pretty much guaranteed last Sunday of every month from 8 p.m. And yeah, come and join in and join in with the hangout. I've kind of been trying to fill time.
I don't know if I like it. I'm in the corner. I feel like I'm on a slope.
Nobody puts Sam in the corner.
You're all right for now. You don't need like severe notes. You might have to move for when you're doing your faction focus.
Well, I'll just lay it out on the... Yeah, come on. Anyway,
Yeah.
carry on.
Anyway, I was just saying, monthly hobby hangouts. Next one's 27th of April. Should be a good time. Come and join us. Yeah. And there'll be an advert at some point. We do probably need to do new adverts. Some new adverts.
Yeah.
Some new adverts. The mic one has to stay.
I want to change it.
Do you?
Yeah. I've been playing a lot of Starfield this month.
Okay.
Why would you do that to yourself?
Do you know what? Actually, I played it originally when it came out, and I kind of got to the point. I was like, man, this is. I was really enjoying the spacefaring, going and helping people, becoming a police officer. I've just become a bounty hunter as well. And then you actually do the actual game, and then it gets really weird. So on this playthrough, you basically become a wizard.
Oh, okay.
You get powers.
Interesting.
In this game. So what I've decided is I'm basically just going to not play the campaign.
Yeah,
I'm just going to play every peripheral mission and just ignore the campaign. They gave me a ship, they gave me a robot to play with, and now I'm going to go off and do everything.
Just do everything else.
Yeah, so I might go back. I might get to like level 50 or whatever, and then go back and do the campaign. Just walk through it. But yeah. So I've been playing Starfield this month.
Okay, fair enough. So
I've been watching lots of people play Split Fiction.
Split Fiction?
So like It Takes Two. Where it's like split screen two-player game.
Yeah.
Same company made a game called Split Fiction. It's massive at the moment. Loads of streamers are playing it.
But
it's about two writers. It's about two writers, and they're in a publishing company, and the way the publishing company do it is they put you into like a super sci-fi version of like augmented reality. and one of them freaks out and ends up falling into the other one's bubble.
Sorry. This is the advert for the game.
But falls into their bubble, and then they're both joint consciousnesses, and they jump between their ideas of their stories. So one's like a fantasy girl, and one's a sci-fi girl.
That explains the difference in the right. Okay,
and so you jump between. You basically play through their story.
Yeah.
But you. And it's multiple stories. It they kind of fracture, and they go into unfinished ideas, and it's kind of like a game of all genres and all themes, and it looks really interesting. It's quite funny.
Do I have to play it with someone else, or is there one player version?
I believe you have to play it with someone else.
Yeah. See, then I don't.
I'm out.
I don't like people.
I'm out.
Yeah.
Well, mainly as well.
I'd love to play it.
I don't have other people that would play it.
Yeah, I'd love to play it, but I don't have a PC. I think it is on console, but it's next gen.
Interestingly, you don't have to own it.
Oh,
I
okay.
can own it,
as long as one player owns
and then
it,
you can download the Friends Pass.
That's cool.
To play it with me.
That's cool.
That's a clever way of doing it.
But yeah, it's definitely worth a go. From what I've watched, it looks quite good fun.
And it works on Steam
And
Deck.
it plays on lots.
It works
of,
on Steam Deck. Tanel, we can play it.
Yeah,
I'll play with you, Tanel.
there are some hilarious things that happen, and it plays on kind of the story, kind of like. So it takes lots of tropes from fantasy and sci-fi that you expect, but also gaming. So there's like levels where you're running towards the camera, and levels that are top down, and like very different styles of play in between the different levels.
Okay,
it looks really interesting.
It sounds like they've gone right. How can we fit as much into this to make it as varied as possible? To keep it interesting. This is me having never played the game before, but it just sounds like
it's very knee-jerk. From what I've watched, it's very knee-jerk. Like you'll be running as one of the stories is like you're a cyber ninja. This isn't giving much away because I'm not saying what you're doing.
Early stuff.
But so you're like a cyber ninja, and then like you're running away from whatever's chasing you, and then you fall through a portal, and you end up you're now a wizard with a pet dragon and stuff like that. Like I think it's supposed to feel very knee jerk, and like you are within a story, like you're in someone's head, rather than like playing through a distinct story.
It sounds very much. Oh, this is going to be very controversial. It sounds very much like it's a game suited for this generation and their attention span.
Very possible.
You're so old, Neil.
Yeah. But it sounds like a very. Attention span, quick TikTok generation kind of attention grab.
The one thing I would say is the main two characters are annoying in their own way.
Excellent.
Like from what I've watched and watching people do it, because one's like the standard, I'm optimistic and lovely and bubbly and friendly, and the other one is the complete opposite, and it's so grating because they just don't get on at all. And it's supposed to be like, and they will become friends by the end, I'm sure, but it's a bit like, just shut up. Like, that's the only thing. Watching streamers play it, and they're just like, can these characters shut up? Like, I just want to play the level. But people seem to be having lots of fun with it. So it's a recommendation for those gamers out there. If you've got a friend.
Cool.
Full stop.
Sorry, there's me shitting all over it. Sorry.
That's fine. Neil has questionable taste in games anyway, so it's fine.
Shall we get into what we've been up to, gentlemen?
Yes.
Let's do it. Purchases. I like the fact that we talk about purchases because it feels like there's more content, but it's still a bit jarring. I'm like, we're back in. I'll call it season 1, the first 100 episodes, because I think we stopped purchases back in episode 25 or something.
Why did you buy 2 Thanatars?
Let's let Matt explain his purchases. Start with the last bit. Just
the other stuff.
The other stuff.
Well,
first.
I want to keep them on the hook for the Thanatars.
Yes.
Fair enough. So I picked up. They actually came just the other day. A Death Guard transfer sheet for the Death Guard project. And Scale Color Metal and Alchemy Copper series.
Is this the one you were complaining about?
So Decayed Metal is still unavailable everywhere.
Right.
Like even Amazon, like triple the price, which I could have got a month ago.
Yeah,
is gone.
Right,
just is unavailable anywhere. But it is one paint in the Metal and Alchemy Copper series box. So I bought a box of paint. It gets you about 8 paints.
Well done, that man.
To get the one paint that I needed, because I need it for the project.
What are the other ones in the box? Are they nice? Would you use them?
Yeah, they're like different coppers, brasses. But the reason it's Metal and Alchemy is there's like four are metals, so they're all copper brasses in this set. They do steel, they do loads of it.
Yeah.
And the alchemy are like specifically metallic glazes to put over the top.
Oh, okay.
So like the steel ones are all like cold and verdigris type and things like that. I think the iron ones are more like rusty browns. In the copper ones, they're reds and pinks, and so it's like garnet alchemy is one of them, and I can't remember, ruby alchemy.
Surely, this is just me being stupid, but surely you'd have verdigris with copper.
Yeah, it's a certain. Yeah, I haven't looked enough into them and how they work and how you're supposed to use them and where you're supposed to use them. Like when you're looking at where does rust naturally form, I feel like I need to do that with this. But it looks really, really cool, and I'm looking forward to kind of using them. Even if I've got the paint that I need. Yeah. I also think the next color up from the decayed metal, which is in that set, I can't remember what it's called, but it could be a really good edge highlight for the decayed metal. So I'll probably will use that, and then I'll play around with the alchemies. I'm thinking of doing the muzzles on my las cannons in the brass.
Okay.
And using the red alchemy like it's getting hot.
Oh, okay, interesting. Yeah.
But I don't know if that's what it's kind of for, so we'll see. But
there's
it cost me a lot of money. Like that transfer sheet and the set was like 50 quid, and I needed one paint that's technically like 3 quid in the set, and I needed the transfer sheet as well.
Yeah.
And it's big, and I think it will be enough.
Fair enough.
Like with 75 inventory,
yeah,
I am nervous that there's still not going to be enough transfers for all the shoulder pads. But I'll just use them until I run out, and then if I have to buy another sheet, I will.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Simple.
Yeah, there's blatantly going to be videos on YouTube for how these alchemy paints
what you could
work.
do for the transfer thing is, because you're going for a super heavy weathered, like decayed version of these, is to cut some of the transfers in half. Yeah,
I could do that, but then I have to concentrate on the weathering, whereas if I just put the transfer on and then do the oil wash and the grimes, whatever's covered is kind of covered. I don't have to worry too much. I think I may come to that
if it gets to like I've got 10 models left. I don't want to buy another 5. Transfer. Then
I will start cutting them up. And then it's just a lovely heavy sponge chip on that shoulder pad. But anyway, Thanatars.
Yeah, so what the fuck?
So I'm in the Discord group for the conflict of Memlock that we're going to.
I should probably start looking at that.
So it's basically the club that it's at.
Yeah.
It's their like heresy group.
Mm-hmm.
So there's lots of talk in there about like organising games and all this stuff. And in some ways, I'm not entirely sure why I'm on it, other than the fact that they basically all year round play through a kind of loose narrative of this world.
Right.
And then the event is like the culmination of what they've done.
So it's keeping you up to date
what's
going on.
Yeah, and there's the guy who kind of helped, I think, originally set up this and then asked the club to kind of take it on. He sets like narrative missions and stuff.
Right.
So you get those and stuff.
Have you looked at it like today?
So no.
James played some dude called Louis. Fine. He lost against Louis.
Okay.
That's not that in itself is weird because James is quite a good player. But the guy he lost against was playing solo Auxilia.
Ooh.
And James was playing his Dark Angels.
Oh.
So how did that happen?
Oh well.
Possibly.
How are Solar good?
Unlucky dice rolling by James. There.
Yeah, it must be.
Yeah,
like,
possibly.
Solar aren't that good to win against Marines.
I don't know.
Depends
on the units, the armies, all sorts.
True, I guess. Yeah.
True. But so I'm in that Discord, and a guy had put up. They've got like a sale, like buy, sell, trade channel, which is very similar to our one.
Yeah.
Plug the podcast Discord. Come and join us. And a guy put up, I'm selling my Mechanicum. Now I recently picked up, I think last month I picked up a Archmagos, super cheap.
Yep.
On the Heresy Trading. I also for Christmas got 20 of the Tech Thralls. Tech Thrall Covenant, whatever they're called.
Yeah. Sorry, but I don't get why you need them.
Because I was building an allied Mechanicum unit.
Okay.
Which has 2 Thanatars in it.
Right.
And then I just need 3 Castellax to go with my Ultramarines. Because I'm running what's the character that can have Castellax? Damn it. What's the character that can have Castellax in Heresy? Praevian. So I've got a Ultramarines Praevian.
Well done, you.
Because
I didn't have a clue.
Yeah, he actually pulled that out of somewhere. But yeah, so the Praevian can have the Castellax. So I've got 3. So I was like, well, actually, if I've got the Covenant and I've got an Archmagos and 2 Thanatars in my allies, if I wanted to play 1,000 points, 1,500 points, whatever, of Mechanicum, I can easily use the 3 Castellax that will be in my Ultramarines list to come across. And then I probably need a unit of Thalax and I'm done. So this guy put up and was selling his stuff fairly reasonably priced. But I only really wanted the Thanatars because he had a bunch. He had some Castellax, but they weren't armed with the weapons I wanted. Yeah. And they were resin, the Castellax.
Yeah.
So I was like, it's a pain in the ass to get the other weapons and do all that. Yeah. There was also a load of Thalax, which I don't currently need. And I'm not sure how many I would need. So I just basically said,
weird force.
One of these moments, I was just like, I'd buy the Thanatars if you're splitting them. And he was like, oh, okay, how much? And I was like, oh, damn. I guess this much? And he was like, okay. And I was like, I've bought 2 Thanatars.
So it's happened.
So I turned to Jenny and went, I may have just spent a little under £100 on 2 Thanatars. But it works out way cheaper than they are to buy.
Quite.
I say it was a reasonable offer for both of us.
Yeah.
I get a discount. He gets decent. And they're plastic. They're the new plastics.
Oh, are they?
So, so they're great. I didn't know from the picture if they were or not because they've been base coated. And he's got a bunch of resin stuff in that job lot. Right. So I just assumed they were resin ones. But no, they turned up and they were plastic. So a few minor repairs from the postage, which was fine. Like literally, it was. I think he'd clearly built them with super glue, so it wasn't snaps. It was like just clean breaks at like hip joint and stuff. So it was just glue. Like I think one of them popped off the base.
Okay,
so just put it back on the base. Yeah. Like very simple stuff. So I did all that, and they're just sitting in my cabinet, going one day they'll maybe grace a table, maybe.
One day.
I do this a lot. I've noticed. I was going through my kind of different projects and I'm like, I buy things, build them, sometimes paint them, and then sell them. And I do this a lot.
I mean,
what Castellax do you need?
Dartfire cannons, the long ones.
So I've got 2 of those.
How yes, I know. Need? 3.
Yeah. I might still have one.
The plastics come in boxes of 2 as well. It's really annoying. You can buy them in. People have split them individually on eBay, but you're a bit like the pricing is a bit. Ooh, so I don't know. I haven't worked that one out yet.
If I can find the Darkfire cannon,
I would certainly be up for that. I mean, the only reason I haven't got the Castellax because that's literally the only unit I need to finish that 3K Ultramarine Force with the Mechanicum allies is the new Space Wolf box. I'm now like, I may need to save my pennies.
I guess so. At the moment, they're just set up on that shelf, not really doing anything. I think in half as well, which is even worse. But I if you wanted them, we could always definitely
like a loan or whatever. No, I'm happy with that.
Have them, and then when you're ready, pay. Like,
yeah. But my thing at the moment is like I need to get the Death Guard done,
and that's it, right? It's about like I was looking at that thread where you bought the models, and James bought some Sisters of Battle.
Yes,
And I was instantly in my head, I was like, that could be quite fun to do as an army, couldn't it?
Bit of silence,
Bit of silence.
I'm a bit Custodes curious, I have to admit.
Yeah, I kind of like it. Like,
and to be fair, I got those Custodes from Tim.
Ages
ago, and I've done nothing with them.
Yeah.
They've just sat. I tried stripping the paint off the resin model, and it hasn't gone very well.
How much? Did you get from Tim?
Because he had the Ixion Hail character.
I think it was literally about 5 models.
Yeah. It's like a squad basically.
So that's like 1,000 points, right? So.
Probably. Probably. I
really want them to do a Custodes kill team of just 2 Custodes.
Or just one.
Like with like 40 wounds or whatever. I'd do it instantly.
It'd be fun.
It'd be so good.
I need to stop buying shit and just paint.
My issue is, and I started this year with going, I'm just going to do the things that interest me.
Yep.
And so, like, my Ultramarines caught my eye, and the Mechanicum allies, and you know, I at Christmas I just did a long list of all the things I needed, wanted, and Tech Thralls were on there because I've always kind of been Mechanicum curious. It's now plastic, that'd be cool, and that was the one box that I got for Christmas. So I was like, well, that kind of pushes.
That solidifies that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So that's fine. And I've just been kind of flitting between different things. But now that I'm going to the event and I'm planning to take a whole new army that needs painting, it kind of has restricted. So like buying the two Thanatars feels silly right now because although I'm still trying to just go, oh, that interests me, I don't have exhaustive income. So it's like, well, like I need this transfer sheet, I need these paints, I need this, I need that. That's where I need to invest my money. This was probably a silly purchase because they're going to sit at least for 6 months untouched.
Well, only if you let them sit 6 months untouched.
Well, yeah, but at my current work level is not the right word. Hobby level. I've only got time to spend on the death card.
When have the death card got to be done by?
July.
So.
Yeah, I should really start.
You've not got 6 months to worry about. You've got 2 months.
Yeah, no, but normally
Christ, it's so close.
Yeah. It's 3 months.
I really to probably start.
It's like end of July.
Oh, okay, fair enough. 3 months.
It's like 3 months.
So you've only got 3 months to wait before
3
you
months.
can start working on them.
It's 100 and something. It's like just over 100 days.
Yeah,
I've got 75 models to make.
Cool, that's one a day. It'll be fine.
Yeah, great.
In average. I'm not talking about it literally is one a day.
I know.
Just average.
But so they're going to sit for that long, and then I'm probably going to be burnt out at the end of that project because I do that, and so they'll sit for a few months where I do nothing. And again, Space Wolves.
What are you doing tonight?
Crying.
Why are you crying tonight?
Because I need to paint 75 death card.
This is hilarious coming from me, by the way.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good. I need to be held accountable for my silly choices.
Don't we all? Don't we all?
But yeah. So that's my purchases. This whole long conversation came out of purchases. I've got a whole long list of things that I want to purchase, but
fair enough.
Can't right now. So
okay.
I need to sell a bunch of stuff. Actually, I took a photo of all the bits that I've got that are just sitting there that are doing nothing and no project. They need selling.
Fair enough.
So I just need to get them clear. That generates some income, which then allows me to buy some extra bits.
What, you selling?
What? Yeah.
It's like 20 units. We'll chat about them.
Yeah, please.
It's a massive mix.
We could just swap a room.
There's some orcs, some Tyranids, some Space Wolves, some Night Lords. There's 5 or 7 tanks. It's a big.
Okay.
Some craters, some terrain, loads.
We'll have some chats.
I'm clearing out.
We'll have some chats.
But anyway, purchases, gentlemen. Please save me.
So during last month's recording, I worked my way through the Element store to buy a box of Kroot Hounds and a Kroot Lone Spear.
Ah, woo! You were building these on the Hangout, weren't you? Was it a Hangout?
No, I didn't do any.
Oh no, it was the Bolt guy before this.
Yeah, no, I haven't done anything with regards to these on Hangouts or anything.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, so I just bought them. The Kroot Hounds I needed for the kill team, so I can have 2 in the kill team.
Yes.
Comes in a box of 5, so it's just a case of build them up and paint them how I would be painting the Kroot anyway, in a variety of mixtures of colours.
You still go for the Hellboy theme?
It's not a Hellboy theme.
Sorry, the red fruit.
That's the base shadow colour. It's not
the colour.
Not the colour. It's the base.
Oh,
shadow
I thought you
colour.
were going for Hellboy.
No. That's the shadow colour, and then
no, it's like a greeny grey.
You either go for a greeny sort of.
You're looking around for a green example.
Yeah, green example that I can't find in here.
There's a Land Rover behind you that's green.
No,
it's a little bit.
There's a
little
fully
bit
painted 1,000-point Cadian force in there.
Possibly a little bit paler than that, or a little bit darker than that. The two different, the highlight and the base colour, and then there's also like a grey blue option as well. Possibly similar to the side of that card box there.
Yeah.
Brilliant podcast in there. Yes. It's the same colour as that side of that box.
Griff Charger Grey, for those of you who want to know what the
There
colour
we
is.
go.
It's Griff Charger Grey.
There we go.
mean,
Lauren...
They're describing it being like a blue box is just as useful
Yeah.
as Griff Charger Grey.
Strachan...
It's for you,
Yeah.
not for them.
No,
They can at least Google that. They can't Google side of a box that I don't know what that box is.
Strachan Green and Lauren Forest are the green colours.
Right.
And then there's also one using Golf Frag Brown, I think, was the other one, which is a dry brush colour.
I played some golf this month.
Ooh.
Yeah, just to throw that in there.
Okay.
You little posh fancy boy.
I know.
But yeah, that's my purchases.
Cool.
Sam?
So I have purchased one thing this month. I think it would have been actually last time we recorded.
Yeah, I think it was it during. Yeah.
Yeah, so I purchased Hell's Last, the new Command Squad box.
Oh, okay.
Yes, with
From
what's the name of
Minka-esque
it?
in it.
Yeah.
That also then resulted in me buying the three audiobooks that she's in to kind of feel the background as to why this character
Care for the character.
Yeah, so in the box set, it was quite expensive for 5-man Command Squad, actually, when you really look at it. But what I've essentially got in there is a Commissar, a Preacher, a Cadian Castellan, and then some nice-looking vets.
Yeah.
So I'm not actually probably going to use it as a Command Squad.
Yeah. Split it up into the
various components. So in there, inside those aren't familiar, you get, let me just read it, you get Captain Minska-esque, who will be probably a Cadian Castellan for me, as well as you get a Confessor Talibus holding a regimental standard, so a Preacher holding a flag, which would be quite cool. A Veteran Trooper with a Melter Rifle, a Sinister Commissar, and a Stealthy Veteran Guana. So again, just a normal veterans. I'm sure I can find other roles for them. But yeah, they look really cool. I'm going to paint them up, trying to follow the box art as much as possible. And then what I'll probably do is either run them as a command squad, because I run 2 command squads. So this could be a alternative command squad, which would be quite good.
Yep.
And then when I go bigger points wise, I'll keep in mind I've got a Commissar model already, so I can run him as a Commissar. And then I've got a Confessor, so I can run him as a Preacher, and give benefits that way, and almost just have them as rotational models. It's kind of how I'm justifying it to myself.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But yeah. So that's what I've purchased. They're still in the box. I did have intentions of building them on a hobby hangout, but I never made it to that hobby hangout. And at the moment, Matt slightly panicked me with the fact that we're very, very close to the event, so I probably need to
whole 2,500 points of Blood Angels.
Yeah, I'd probably need to pivot slightly,
just a touch, just a touch
to focus on that for a little bit. So yeah. That's all the purchases worked on during this month, so I might as well carry on because I'm already talking.
Yeah, go.
So I finished the 1,000 points of Cadians. Like in about a week after recording.
It's about 2 months later than original, wasn't it?
About a month later. So they were finished. I played like super early in the month with Leo.
Oh, that's true. You've had a few games, haven't you?
Yeah, I've had 3 games with them now.
Cool.
So which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
So actually about a week after recording, I'd finished them, which was a push.
Yeah.
It was a lot of painting,
But you got there.
I got there. So the
horses look phenomenal, by the way.
The models are up on Instagram if you want to go and have a look. I'll post some when we post the show notes. I'll post them out.
Plug your personal one as well. Is it Coffee Hammer?
Coffee Hammer, yeah, that sounds about right.
I think it is.
The one.
2 seconds. I cut all this out.
I still need to get better about posting online.
Yeah, Coffee_Hammer is my one, and there's photos of the games that I've had, also complete army shots of everything, and then what I started doing is going through and doing individual unit shots, post them every now and then. So yeah, definitely there. So they got fully painted. So in that list would be 2 20-man squads with a command squad in each. On top of that, a Cadian Castellan, Ursula Creed, a Rogel Dawn battle tank, and 2 Scout Sentinels, as well as a heavy weapons team.
Yep. Nice.
Heavy ordnance battery team. Anyway, one of those, whatever the correct title is.
Yeah.
And 5 horses, which in some games have been MVP.
Yeah.
In other games, sucked.
I feel like they are a bit swingy. They're not the Death Corps ones.
They're the Rough
Riders,
Riders.
right?
But we'll talk about games in a minute. We'll get there.
Yeah.
And so they've all been painted up this month. And then after that, immediately, Liam and I decided that we're going to turn our game into a escalation campaign. So now we're going up to 1250.
Nice.
So increased by 250 points.
That's why he's been painting a load of Tyranids.
That's why he's been painting a load of Tyranids.
Cool.
And not
That's
painting
good.
the terrain that he said he was going to paint for the campaign. But
Well, I mean, you got to have the army done first.
exactly. So so my extra 250 points is going to be a I'll just load up the list because I'll get it wrong otherwise. I'd hate to upset.
Something.
It'll be something.
Cool.
Another Rogel Dawn.
Well, I did write a list the other day where
It's
I can
5?
have 6
6.
because you can only have a maximum of three of any type of unit.
Yeah.
In an army. Didn't
Yep.
know that. But you can have 3 command Rogel Dawns and 3
Normal
Rogel
Rogel Dawn.
Dawns. And it comes to where is it? It comes to 4,965.
Why?
Oh no, hang on, no, that's the Lehman Russ one. Hang on.
Why am I not surprised?
Oh, what did it come to? Anyway, I don't know. Where is it? It's 1250. So in the 1250 list, I will be adding a Taurox, which will have Kazakins inside. And at the moment, I'm toying with a Basilisk
Okay. Ooh.
Fun.
because why don't you need to shoot things from far away?
I mean, they're really cool. And they look really cool. I've always liked the look of a Basilisk.
I'm following a few on eBay, but I'm kind of tempted to go with the Solar Auxilia 30k one
hell yeah.
because they are way nicer. I like the enclosed compartment.
Yeah.
Rather than the other chassis.
Yeah.
So that's a maybe, but I have about 2 weeks until that game, so I need to kind of make that decision sooner rather than later.
Buy one and paint it.
Well, so the Kazakins are nearly done.
Yeah,
The
I saw
Taurox aren't in stock anywhere, so I was talking to Matt. And
you can borrow my one.
Oh no, that's fine. I'm just gonna go with our plan. So we talked about using the rock grinder from GC Cult because they are the same profile.
Yeah.
Same like length and width, pretty much. I think the rock grinder is very slightly wider.
Yeah.
So pretty much the same profile. They have twin autocannons, armored tracks, and stormbolter, which is all stuff you can equip onto that anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to repurpose those. They just sit there as terrain. I'm going to repurpose one of those, spray it green, and have it for my Kazakins.
Nice.
I think it'll look really cool.
So a bit different. And I don't have to buy a Taurox. So
winning.
that's fine. The Kazakins are on the way. That will be again a vehicle will take like 2 seconds.
Conversation this month.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Feels like it was 6 months ago.
No.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but vehicles, as soon as I buy that, it'll be painted in like
Oh
a day.
yeah.
Like,
yeah, quite.
It's not. They're not. Vehicles aren't hard. So I just need to purchase it somewhere.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's my 1250 point list that I'm working on. And then other things that have been going on. Obviously, we're going to an event.
Yes,
in,
indeed.
2 months apparently, which is slightly terrifying.
3 months. 3 months.
3 months. So I have written a new 2,500 point Blood Angel list,
Cool.
which I will read to you and we will talk about. So 2 chaplains with jump packs and chainswords. Because why not?
You love a chaplain.
I love the ability for them not to like die.
Yeah, I mean, fearless and re-roll in the first round of combat is tasty.
Is a very Blood Angel thing to do. Zephon, which is going to be my warlord. I'm going to run 3 assault squads. All with chainswords, nothing special there. Artificer on the sergeant,
bodies.
Tank those 2 up saves.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to have an apothecary with each of those to keep them alive a bit longer.
Cool.
All with jump packs, etc. I'm running a 2 Contempt Dreadnought Talon with Gravis plasma cannons and Gravis power fists.
Nice.
Because it worked really well last time.
What weapon are you going for in the fist?
Built in, so it'd be Stormbolter.
The Stormbolter.
Yeah, nothing special. I'm going to run a 5-man Dawnbreaker cohort.
Nice.
With the jump packs, etc. And then a reconnaissance squad, 5-man reconnaissance squad, and then a heavy weapons support squad with las cannons.
Yes.
And then a Leviathan dreadnought.
How many
Nice.
How many las cannons?
Oh, three dreadnoughts in this list.
10.
10. Good.
So yeah.
Yes. And
it's a lot of bodies.
Yeah, that's what I'm concerned about.
Well, so you don't have all these bodies.
No, I have most of them.
Yeah, you have most of them. You don't have all of them.
I have the Contempt dreadnoughts.
Yeah, and Leviathan.
And the
Leviathan. So what don't I have?
You've probably got the Recon squad, although you'd have to repaint them because they're
back
Alpha
from
Legion.
Alpha Legion.
You're redoing your red anyway, so whatever.
Um,
or just buy 5 models.
I have the the chaplains.
You don't have the apothecaries.
I don't have the apothecaries.
You sold/gave me 2 of them.
I
But
have
now I've painted Death Guard, so too late.
I have some apothecaries and I have arms, so I could definitely sort that out.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I have the assault squads. I'm pretty confident of this list.
You have 2 of the 3 assault squads, don't you?
No, I have 3.
You have 3.
They're just not over there because they weren't in the list, so they're put away in a box.
Okay.
So of the list, I have the chaplains. I have the Zephon.
Yeah.
I could probably make up the apothecaries. If not, I'll just buy some new ones.
Yeah.
I have the contemptors. I have the dawnbreakers. I have the assault squads. The recon squad will put a question mark there.
Yeah.
The
don't have las cannons.
Don't have las cannon heavy weapon squad. They might need to be.
You have 10 missiles, dude.
So I could swap them out for missiles instead of las cannons.
You'd get some points back, but I don't know. The 10 las cannons is going to be your best bet at killing a tank,
which is the thing, right? Apart from the sending a Leviathan dreadnought with a melter lance at it.
Yeah, but you got to run up the board.
But I've got to get to
the
tank with the dreadnought.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is if you were going to change the las cannons to missiles, I'd think about using those extra points to buff the plasma cannons on the contemptors to las cannons.
Which I could do very easily. I've already got the made.
I think I prefer the plasma cannons. I think they give you more utility in the list. But that's a way of getting a little bit more anti-tank if you were going to downgrade.
Yeah.
But 10 las cannons is 10 las cannons, and they do a lot of work. So if you've got the ability to invest in them, you're never going to go wrong with 10 more Marines with las cannons.
No. So anyway, that's the list.
Cool.
Do I have las cannons? No, I've got No, I've definitely got...
You've definitely got a 10-man missile launch squad.
This is the problem with putting stuff in boxes.
Yeah.
Can't see it all. So that's the list I'm working with at the moment.
Cool.
I need to play it. I really need to play it.
Yeah.
I desperately need to play some Heresy, to be honest.
It's different to how I've normally played Blood Angels. I've never played Blood Angels successfully in this edition. So I need to figure it out. And the worst comes to worst, I've got a fully 2,500 point painted Alpha Legion army
indeed, yes.
to run out. So
as loyalist
Alpha Legion. Well, I mean, Alpha Legion are ambiguous, right?
No,
yeah, exactly.
they're not.
It's are they, aren't they?
No, I don't agree. But you can run any Legion as loyalist. Let's
exactly.
be real. So it's not.
We are Legion. It's fine.
My Death Guard fit either way. Because I'm not running any special characters or any units that have to be traitor.
Yeah.
Maybe the Grave Wardens. I don't know. I'd have to look.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you.
So that's the list, and that's been the main sort of point of what I've been working on this month. We'll talk about games in the next bit, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Cool.
Neil?
So I've built Crew Hounds, and that's it. That is this month's.
Did you build all 5 or just the 2?
I've just done the 2 so far. So I get the other 3 built, and then I can actually sort of add them to the pile of prime stuff, and then have a big bulk batch of these are going to be bluey grey, these are going to be greeny ones, and these ones are going to be the let's see if the brown ready works.
That's cool. I do like the Crew Hounds. They've got a lot of character in them.
They look so much better than the older resin ones and metal ones that they had. And they're very simple to put together.
Yeah. Well, for me this month, it's not been loads, to be honest. I kind of woke myself up to this event is only a few months away, so I better get my finger out and start actually doing stuff. So I painted up my Delegatus, Herald, and 2 Contemptors, other than the brass copper, decayed metal that I had needed and I literally got like yesterday, and transfers, and then they're ready for their oil wash. So they're sorted. I've got all the armor colours and highlights on the Las Cannon squad and 3 apothecaries, as well as the base green, which is Caliban green for their like shoulder pads. And on the apothecaries, where they've got different like shoulder pads, like some are kind of semi-cloaked and some are there's one that's got the apothecary logo on it.
Yep.
So I'm going to paint them red shoulder pads, so they're really easy to stand out.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can see my medics really easily.
So I'm assuming then that you'll do the base part of the shoulder pad red, and then the embossed section, the apothecary symbol in white, maybe.
Yeah, or black, maybe. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Not sure yet. I might do a black shoulder pad with it being red.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
but I'm got to think that out. So I did some of their greaves, and like knee pads with the green, so they still tie in with the rest of the Death Guard. So that's all laid out. I just need to do the next color of green, the main color.
Right. Yeah.
Like I put Caliban green down is just the dark base for the edges and shadows and stuff. They will get a full covering. Normally 2 or 3 goes over because it's quite thin paint. I can't remember what it's called. Drab green maybe. It's from Army Painter.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
It's a scheme I'm following. So that's done. I hope to get some of the base silver work done, but I didn't get a chance this week, unfortunately, to do that. But those 13 models are all ready for that next stage. And then I did get an opportunity to base coat my Grave Wardens, which I was sharing with you two gentlemen about my funds of my airbrush not letting paint through and it being a real pain in the bum. And after I got kind of persevered and used a couple of different things to get through getting my Grave Wardens black, I tore apart my paintbrush, soaked it in cleaner, gave it a real full clean, and it's been quite a while since I had one. And the amount of paint that came out of the reservoir connector was insane. I was like, wow, this probably has been my problem for a very long time, and I've just been kind of slowly increasing my pressure to push paint through. And actually, maybe I should have just done this a long time ago.
So for the benefit of those that aren't sure what Matt's going on about, Matt has got an airbrush that is a side feed gravity siphon, as opposed to the paint cup attaches to the side of the airbrush rather than sitting on top or below it.
Yeah, and it's not grafted into the main body of the airbrush. You screw it on, it's got like a lock nut, so you have to undo that, and then it's got its own thread, so you spin the whole reservoir spins round to come off. It's a very basic airbrush. It's not a branded one. It's the one that came with the airbrush
kit
8-9 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's put in work.
Matt has done some wonders with it. So.
It's really put in some work. I was saying this year I should really invest in a proper one, as I always say. But this thing's a workhorse, and it does the job quite well. Yeah. And I'm hoping that now, once I lube up all the pieces and put it back together nice and clean and fresh, it will run like a dream.
Get that super lube out.
Yeah. I've got it somewhere stored away.
Nice.
Sam's clearly looking at something because he didn't react to super lube.
Super lube's not a funny word.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, so that was kind of a big thing. The only little thing that I did that I thought was maybe worth mentioning is I've gone into my list, because I have my list written out on like Google Doc of the different units. I've color coded them with a key of where they're at in progress. So like some that need base coating, some that need armor color, some that need the metalwork. And it's like 10 different color codes, I think. 9 maybe. And so I can easily look at that. For me, I can look at that page and go, oh, okay, yeah, I can do that this time. I can do that this time. And kind of focus my hobby time.
Yeah.
Because the problem is they're all in my cabinet. So I look at my cabinet and I'm like, oh, what shall I do today? And it's like, actually, if I've got models that are waiting for oil wash and I want to get a few more ready for that so I can do a big batch, well, actually going down the list and going, well, those guys need the metalwork done and then they're ready. Yeah. So I'll do those, and just planning out a little bit more to make it a proper project rather than just, well, I need to paint 75 guys and hopefully and definitely I'll get there, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like this helps me kind of focus on exactly what I'm doing next. I've started giving up on the dream of having all the dead guys painted as well, but I don't want to let that go just yet.
It's a back burner thing. At the
moment. It's an added extra, and I can't focus on that when I've got to get the actual models that I'm playing the games with painted. But I kind of do hope that I can get all of that done for the event. I think that would be really fun. To take and just have fun with it. But yeah, that's everything I've been doing really.
Cool.
Next month I expect it'll be lots of this has been base coated, this has been base coated, this has been base coated, this has had an armor color, this has had it'll be a kind of lots, hopefully more done, but we've started moving, which is good. So other media discussion, gentlemen. So this is books, online inspiration, gaming related to Games Workshop. So, computer games, etc. Is what we mean by gaming, not out games on the tabletop. That's our next segment. But the only thing I have is the Space Wolves reveal at Adepticon hit me more than I thought it would. I was always going to be excited, but I literally was fanboyed out and was like, "This is so awesome," and I need to buy that box. And
fair enough. Yeah.
Which is great. But I'm trying to focus on Heresy, and all I now want to do is play some 40k Space Wolves, which is I'm being dragged that way.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, the models look phenomenal. Like they've done such a good job, characterful. Gone a bit more down that Viking theme, which is expected, but they haven't gone too comical with it.
Yeah.
So I think they've done a good job.
They've moved away from the Wolven.
Yeah, a little bit. There's hints of it.
Yeah.
But and what I actually really like is I absolutely loved the original Grey Hunter box.
Yeah.
That you could make Blood Claws or Grey Hunters out of. The amount of Space Wolf bits you'd get from them was unbelievable.
Yeah.
You'd get bolt pistol arms, bolter arms, chain swords, power weapons. Like, it was such a good box for Games Workshop.
Yeah.
And I bought multiple of those boxes to build all my different units, even like Wolfguard, in power armor. You could build out of that box because there was enough power weapons and shields.
Yeah.
And it was insane how good that box was. Looking at the Primaris versions, it kind of looks similar because the Blood Claws, so they've done Primaris Blood Claws, which people online weren't sure if that was going to happen. And they are assault intercessors, basically.
Yeah.
But there's little trinkets. They've got different chest pieces.
I think that's it, right? Looking at the models now, they're not massively different. Like, it's just like slightly different chest piece. And I think that's it. This model will have 2 things that'll make it a Space Wolf. This model will have 3 things that make it a Space Wolf. 1 thing that make it a Space Wolf. Like, it's going to have flavour, but not like detract from the fact they are still uniform and they are still the same Viking force. And yeah.
I mean, there's a big question on whether you'll actually be able to take assault intercessors now. Whether they're because if you've got assault intercessors called Blood Claws, why would you take assault intercessors? It's really strange.
Yeah.
So there's that little bit of unsurety right now because obviously no one's got their hand on the book yet because it's not out yet. But it was really cool to see, and like the Primaris Grey Hunters basically because I think the kit allows you to do that as well. So it's either they're 2 separate kits or, like before, you'll get a Primaris Space Wolf box. And you can build either Grey Hunters or Blood Claws, which will then give you a ton of bits, which is what the old Space Wolf box was. So it'd be really interesting if they've done that again. I doubt it.
I would be very surprised because
it allows too much customization without buying extra things.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I would be surprised.
Unless it's priced higher.
Yeah. But I always loved running bodies with my Space Wolves. I loved having that kind of horde of charging warriors. And this... because the box has 2 of these kits in it, so you can build like 10 Blood Claws, 10 Grey Hunters. It's got the new Head Takers, which are like Wolfguard, but I think they've tried to kind of go. It's like a step between the Lone Wolf completely on their own, and Wolfguard. So they're like veterans that run in small packs to hunt down the biggest things.
Yeah.
That's the idea of the fluff behind them. So you get a set of them, and then you get 2 characters. So it's a very base level.
The Wolf Priest is amazing.
Yeah, he looks
like
really
he looks
cool.
so good. It's like the Chaplain, but like made Space Wolfy.
And the 3 heads are really cool. You get the hooded wolf skull helmet, and then there's a really heavily bearded guy who's got like teeth, like trinkets in his beard, and looks really, really cool. It's a base, like almost start collecting kind of box. Yeah. Rather than like some of the newer ones, like even the Guard one with the Death Corps, you've got a lot of horses in there, or not horses, but cavalry in there. Yeah. And, you know, in the big gun, and it was like, this is a certain vibe of battle. Yes. There wasn't lots and lots of infantry. No. Whereas this is like, here's a squad of Blood Claws, here's a squad of Grey Hunters.
It's to cover the whole. You need to be able to take objectives, this, that, the other.
They're apparently they've got objective control 3, which is higher than like a standard like assault intercessors and stuff. So they're saying they're some of the best battle line unit just on that basis, which I think is obviously hype. Don't get me wrong, everyone's excited.
Yeah,
but it was really interesting to read that actually I think they're hopefully what I remember from the 5th ed and what I loved was the troops were the core, and you built armies around Grey Hunters and Bloodclaws, and then you had a few extra things.
Yeah,
and I think 40k for me is a little bit like where you take your one battle line squad, and then you just have all the shiny tools and toys, and you can ignore the kind of troop thing. And I'm hoping with the Space Wolves, at least with this codex, they've gone actually bodies is the way we're going, and Bloodclaws and Grey Hunters are so needed.
Yeah.
And that will really get me excited if that's the case.
Good.
But so I guess it fits the other media discussions because it was an online reveal. But it's really got me going, I need that box. I can't wait to have a codex and play out of a codex as well. So yeah, it's just got me excited.
Cool.
So I thought of something else, but I didn't write it down. And then, so one of the things I want to talk about was goblin hobbies.
Oh yes.
So I briefly talked about them in our Discord, and they are the brainchild of one YouTuber or two YouTubers, but one YouTuber that I watch called eBay Miniature Rescues
and Goobertown
Hobbies.
Yeah.
So Goblin Hobbies effectively are rather than using transfers, it's effectively using stamps. So the same way that they do like prints in like bowls or commercial like t-shirt printing and stuff, they're basically like giant nipple boob looking silicon things that they stamp onto a pre-made like stencil and then apply it to whatever. So they've basically made a miniature version of this where they're metal plates with the indentation in that you pour paint into, scrape off the excess, put the boob thing onto it to transfer it onto the silicon, and then push it as a stencil onto a model. So for me, I was like, this is nuts. This is so great because I fucking hate transfers. They're like the bane of my life. I can never get them to look right. They never sit right. They never transfer easily. And I was just talking to the guys before this. I've got to do transfers to like 60 Cadians.
Yep.
Like small Cadians. Whereas or what I could do is get these plates to just be like stamp.
Possibly.
It won't be that easy.
My concern is you still have the issue of like getting it straight.
Yeah.
And with a transfer, I can play with that. With paint, you cannot.
No, but what you can do is you look, the applicator is see-through, so you look through it to see where on the model you are. So it's a lot.
So you can line it up before you push.
Down, and then you roll it on.
I think that would be really easy with cut. I think white would struggle. If you're doing like a little number, if it's as small as, think of your guardsman. You want to do a little skull. That little metal print is tiny. To then get that on your applicator and then see, although it's clear, white won't show up really, really easily. So you'll think you're straight and you'll put it on and it'll be slightly wonky. And that would worry me. I'm sure it's going to be a time you get used to the process and then you get better and better and better at it. Same with transfers. But that would be my only concern of that method of just going, I've done it, it's now wonky. Wipe it clean, do it again.
Well, they showed in the latest one of the latest videos, they showed putting on checker patterns onto orcs. And basically
bane of my life that was when I did the orcs.
And the fact that they do it on the axes, and he's like, so you can either mask and tape it off to start with, or you just apply it to the whole thing and just repaint over the white, basically to kind of get it to where you want it to be. So I think the application could be really cool.
I'm
interested
really,
to see
really
what it's going to be like. And I think you can, when they come out, I might buy a plate, buy the applicator, give it a crack. I think it would work really well on guard.
To see costing.
Yeah, they haven't launched it yet, so I don't know what the costing is going to be. But these are like metal plates, so they're not going to be cheap.
No, it's okay, interesting.
So that's one thing I wanted to talk about. And then the other thing was, I've just remembered it. I have been watching Warhammer TV.
Oh, cool. I haven't dived in yet. I do need to.
No.
And I've watched all of the Angels of Death TV series.
Oh, cool.
2 series. It's basically about Blood Angels going to this planet, and there's a bit of a twist I won't sort of do there, but there is a Gene Stealer cult incursion into this planet, and it's about them dealing with that. And then in one of the final scenes, the Dreadnought gets awoken.
Oh, cool.
And then starts fighting on the ship. flipping great.
Okay.
Like, yeah, pretty good.
I've seen one scene from it. I don't want to say because it might give some stuff away, but it's really interesting kind of struggle between, do we choose to do this or do this?
Yeah, Dante's called us home. That scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really, I've seen that scene and it was like, oh, there's some real characterful.
Yeah.
It's not just like we are robots, we know no fear. Like there's feeling. Yeah. And you actually, I was like, this is really good. Like I can feel the characters struggle.
Do we condemn 4 billion souls? It's like, but Dante has called us home.
Yeah.
And he would
really
not do that lightly. Like, yeah, it's a good. Anyway, so I've tried watching a few of the others. I didn't really get into it as much when I tried putting them on. And because there's no TV app, you have to kind of cast it from your device to your TV. If you've got a Google Android TV,
yeah, I can do that. Yeah.
So you can cast it from your phone to there,
or just watch it on your phone, I guess.
Yeah, but at that point,
does it work that way?
You can do. You can watch it on your phone, or you can watch it.
I
on
watch
TV.
so much on my phone.
Yeah, I don't like that. I've got a TV. I've got screens to use.
Yeah, there's normally a child on my one. So
yeah. We're not there yet.
Sit in the corner and watch my thing while they're playing on the Switch or the Xbox. Or
I did start watching Pariah Nexus animated series.
Oh, that's the Necron
with a Sister of Silence, I think.
No, Battle.
Sister of Battle. I was getting it wrong.
Yeah, Sister Silence Heresy.
Sister.
I mean, they're around in 40k, but
so I did this. I watched some of that, but I didn't really get into it. I think I just finished watching all of the Angels as of Death, and I was like, I need to kind of just take a chill moment. What is cool, and I didn't realize this until afterwards, is they've done a Angels of Death, the entire series in one video, rather than watching the 20 minutes each time.
Yeah. That's quite good. So you can just put that on and pause it and come back to it.
Yeah. What I thought was quite interesting is the animations are very clearly different art styles. So the Angels of Death is like a very Sin City black and white with colour when they need it, whereas like Interrogator or Hammond Bolter is very classic cartoon style editing. And then Broken Lance is very similar, and Pariah Nexus is like CGI kind of game sort of style.
Yes.
So yeah, they have also got the Astartes on there. You remember the Astartes series?
Oh yes.
So that's on there. And they've basically, because they obviously bought the guy who did it.
Yeah.
They bought the guy.
Yeah, they did. Well, they did.
They basically did. Yeah.
Well, I mean, why not, right? You made something that Games Workshop go, yeah, we want this. Why not? So he's finished it in there, in that series, in there. So it's worth a bit of a watch. But do you know what it actually made me want to do? Maybe want to go and watch the first Space Marine. Ultramarine movie.
I love that movie.
No.
I love that movie.
Do you know what? I love it more because other people hate it.
Yeah, I genuinely think it's one of those films that is so bad it's amazing. I love it. I fucking love it.
No, it's no Hercules in New York or whatever it's called.
It's so good. I love that movie.
There's a couple of things that I don't like about the app as an app developer myself, like the fact that it doesn't remember where you've watched up to in a
god,
in a
that's
TV
awful.
Because I was really worried, and I sort of left and came back, and I don't know whether it's not because I'm casting it to a TV or not, but it just didn't remember, and I was like, man, this is fucking annoying.
On the TV, is it just the stuff? Do you get any of the stream stuff?
What do you mean?
Like battle reports and
you do get battle reports, so you get underneath the.
I haven't had a look at the app at all.
So you get and their app is horrendous.
Yeah.
It's not horrendous. Sorry, it just feels very undeveloped. So they've got Warhammer exclusive shows, which are battle reports, Taizan Tesseract trials. I don't know what the fuck that is. It's a game. It's a arena combat beneath two worlds. So there is games on there, like battle reports, which might be, I've not watched any of them. Might actually be quite.
It could be interesting. I'm thinking of watching more like Kill Team.
There is
hang around the rules.
They have talk shows as well. Like they have the Black Library Book Club where they interview authors, which might be interesting if there's a book that you're into. And then I'm interested. I'm gonna keep watching it. It doesn't feel at the moment like it's that deep.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like there's enough. So I don't apart from the app to build your armies for 40k. Yeah. I don't really know why people do the subscription. Really?
Yeah, it does. Seem
that's the only reason I can think of. Is the app's amazing, but the TV shows aren't. There's not that many of them. Under animations, right? Under all animations, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 animations.
Yeah.
Which for $5.99 a month for the last, what, we're on year 4 of it now. I think if you were start from the beginning, 10 animations in 4 years is pretty shit.
It's not a
like unless there's stuff that I'm missing.
Unless because I mean, there's an element of gatekeeping behind the streaming stuff, isn't there? You've got free stuff you can get on Twitch.
Yeah,
you can watch it live free on Twitch, but you can't watch back.
Yeah, so whether it's
but then that would be paying for the Twitch subscription.
Unless you get in there,
unless it's in that, and then you
get
access to all that. That's why I mentioned about battle reports.
So like, okay, so they've got 30k battle reports. They've got 30k battle reports. They have 2. One is Sons of Horus, the Imperial Fist. Oh, and the other one is Sons of Horus, Imperial Fists.
Oh, congratulations!
So that's like clearly a little two-parter.
They have Necromunda. But Necromunda they have 1, which is Ash Waste versus Orlok.
It seems like these have been filmed on there to go, this is what the game is.
Yeah.
Rather than like, here are our battle reports.
They have quite a few Kill Team ones.
Yeah.
Like Kill Team, they've got Scouts versus Chaos, Tempest Aquilons versus Respite Stingwings. Basically, it looks like when they've done a new box, they've done a battle report with that box.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which makes sense.
But yeah, so it's a way of showing what's in the box and this is how it plays kind of thing, rather than a constant stream of all their, like, they're not moving across the battle reports they do on Twitch.
No.
If they still do. I mean, I'm so out of it now, I don't even know if that's still
They do have all of the Citadel Colour master classes on there as well, if you're interested in finding that out. They do have Lore Masters where they talk about background and history and stuff, and you can select through there. So there is stuff, but it just feels like animations must cost them a fucking fortune to do.
Of course.
So I can understand why they wouldn't do loads. Yeah. But like this kind of content,
take a long time to do.
But 4 years.
The level of the Astartes stuff.
It depends on how long. Yeah.
Like that project's probably a year. You know.
And they are doing Astartes too, so
it's that kind of thing. Like there's. I agree with you in terms of the amount.
Do you know what it feels like, right?
But
it feels like Disney Plus, before they bought a load of other
before
places.
they bought Star.
Yeah, before they bought Star. So when Disney Plus originally, when you had it, before they had Star Wars on there as well.
Yeah.
So when it was original OG Disney Plus, and I think I got a the trial subscription, there was literally Disney movies.
Yes. And that was it.
And then they bought Star Wars. So it was all the Star Wars stuff. And I was like, great, okay. Then they bought Star, and they were like exploding the catalogue.
Yeah, Walking Dead was on it. Like so many.
It made sense to have it. Like, but after that kind of first year, which as someone who develops products, it makes sense to do a slow grow so that you're working out the kinks of the service before you get to, like, it's not just the app, it's about how do you support the thing, how do you deal with issues, how do you onboard new people, all those journeys.
Yeah.
But all of the services that have been successful have grown. Like they've hit a point and rapidly grown.
Yeah.
And at the moment, it just doesn't seem like they're doing that. Like, it just feels like they're kind of going, right, we've got paint stuff because we're doing paint stuff anyway. It's on YouTube. We'll put it in the app. Fine.
Is it the same though? Have you watched any to see if they're like? I wonder if they're behind a paywall because it's not the 10-minute video on YouTube. It's a half hour.
I've watched the Black Armor video on YouTube and it's on here and it looks relatively the same.
Oh, okay.
I can't say I've watched many videos since Duncan and Peachy left.
Glass bottles, gems. What it feels like is this is a place to go, oh man, I need to paint the horses. And I probably should have done it for horses. Let's go and see how they've painted their horses.
Yeah, my only thing about that is I think a lot of the time the painters outside of Games Workshop do better jobs. Because I think Games Workshop paint a certain way.
They do. That's very true. I like the way Games Workshop paint. I've painted my entire Cadian Force the way Games Workshop told you to paint it.
Yeah.
And I think it's come out really well. I think if you start going external, like look at your Death Guard, right? Yeah. How many paint are in your Death Guard recipe? How much paint is in your Death Guard recipe?
Wow. Including all the weathering pigments and stuff.
Everything.
Probably like 15, 20, something like that.
So a good investment of what? £3 a pot?
Yeah.
So nearly 60 quid worth of paint.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like I think Games Workshop paint to a particular like level. Like don't get me wrong, they probably don't do any of the weathering stuff anymore because they don't do any of those pigments like they used to. So if you're looking for that kind of aesthetic, then it's not for you. But I think Games Workshop cut out you need one scale 75 paint and then you need to go for one little bit of armor trim. You need this one little paint from this other company, like two
Yeah,
thin
yeah.
coats, and then basically getting like a collection of loads of different paints. Whereas they're very much like, this is our product. This is how you paint using our product, using our stuff. What I don't like is the fact they use new brushes every single time they do a video, because there's no way their brushes are that clean.
But they can. That's the problem.
Yeah. But anyway, so that's I'm going to do a bit more research into the app, find out a bit more stuff. They've got what is cool, is called Scrap Demon, which I think you'd like, which is a kit bashing series.
Yeah.
So there's only 3 episodes, but they have to build something. So they build Chaos Monstrosities, Undead Abominations, Orc Custom Vehicles, and basically it's just a kit bashing video.
Yeah.
So what was it called? Sorry.
Scrap Demons, like Scrap Wars.
Okay. Cool.
But Scrap Demons.
That's kind of cool.
I've just found this. I haven't seen this one before. The Mech Boys Workshop is a talk into how they've done their boards creation.
That's cool.
Okay, that might be
That
interesting.
also could be really cool to watch.
Yeah. Maybe it's just a case that you just have to find it more.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just not like the navigation on it is crap, right? So the only way to find videos is to go through the main page, find a series that you're interested in, like talk shows, and then select more videos, and then it will take you all the way to all the talk shows here. But there's no like down this side where like in the navigation menu. So I couldn't go down here and be like, oh, I want to watch videos that include, I don't know, Blood Angels, or no filters. The search is as good as Games Workshop searches ever.
Oh no!
So I go Blood Angels. Let's see what comes up. Blood Angels.
So there are some times you just think, what are you doing?
So Blood Angels. Bearing in mind, Angels of Death is about the Blood Angels. All they've brought up is Blood Angels versus Orc 40k battle report.
Yeah.
So clearly their search is great.
They haven't tagged.
It's just a very basic search engine.
It's gone. What are the titles? Return me the titles that include something with this.
Yeah. So it's pulled up Blood Angels. It hasn't pulled up Angels of Death.
No.
Because it hasn't. It is a lot of searches I find go off the first word you put in as well.
Yeah.
If you change that first word, you
can get around that.
If you
sometimes.
put Angels of Blood, Angels of Death would come up.
If you can, sometimes you get around that by putting an underscore instead of a space. So an underscore will make it think like it's the same.
Interesting.
Yeah, try that. So I'm going to try it a bit more. It's been an interesting investment so far, and I think I just need to probably make more.
It's
of an
been
effort.
great for the list app. And getting access to those
that
rules
has been helpful. Yeah.
Which maybe that's why you do it. Maybe that's why you do $5.99 a month, just so you can have lists.
Yeah, I'd say that's worth $2.99 of that $5.99.
Yeah.
Could be.
Anyway, sorry, where are we?
We're going to move on to
game highlights.
Game highlights, because I've got nothing to add to media.
All I've got is I've got a game booked in for next week.
I have
playing 40k.
Who are you playing? Tom.
He's bringing Elder. His first time bringing his Elder.
Yeah.
So he's bringing some Elder, and I'm bringing
that's not true anymore because he played Liam in the basement.
Well, okay, yeah.
But
at the time of booking it, he hadn't played Elder.
No, but he might be better than he would have been.
He's gonna kick the shit out of me anyway. I'm running Index Space Force, and I've played 15 games.
I think Liam kicked the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Maybe I can't remember. So
I got nothing. So carry on, Sam.
I've played 3 games with my Acadians.
Indeed.
And so what I've done, rather than doing like a blow by blow, is I pumped in the results plus notable moments plus characters into AI and asked it to write me a battle report, like a report written back to HQ style.
Okay, interesting.
So I will read you those.
That's interesting.
I'm
assuming they're short enough, right?
Yeah, they're not that long. So I've got an executive summary inside there.
Going on a 30-minute story time with Sam.
So I have I've started naming my characters. So my Acadian Castellan,
as you should.
My Acadian Castellan, who will be my standard, always there, subbing out like Ursula Creed, those kind of people, is called Captain Elon Basque.
Nice, good name.
Erlen Basque. Erlen Basque.
Erland.
The command squad, the Acadian commander in the command squad, because every command squad has a commander, is I've got one called Reeve, just going to go last names only, and then Farstein.
Okay.
It's a bit more of German descent. Farstein. Firstein, I guess. Firstein.
Yeah.
Then I've got the Rogaldorn battle tank is called the Iron Duke.
Okay.
Mainly because Iron Duke is in the transfers.
Oh, is it?
So I can actually put the actual transfer on there.
Right, yeah.
So I was like, the Iron Duke, that makes complete sense. So Vogan is the planet that Liam has built.
It's a city, yeah.
Well, it's a planet now.
To be fair, it might be a planet, and the capital city is just called Vogan as well.
Yeah, so it's
It's
Vogan.
a very old White Dwarf Cities of Death campaign.
Oh, cool. Okay, so we've got Vogan Secundus, Hive Coranus, the Hive Coranus engagement. The subject of our report is after action report of the 653rd Cadian Iron Guard Regiment, which is my regiment. Urban engagement with High Fleet Coremus, Vogan Secundus, Sector Gamma 7. It happened on 812.m42. Didn't tell it any of this information. It came up with all of this. The location was Vogan Secundus, the urban sector of Vidian Spire, Sector Gamma 7. Forces involved was the 653rd Cadian Iron Guard Regiment, elements of the 1st, 3rd and 5th Battalions, including Iron Duke, the Rogel Dawn battle tank, otherwise known as Command Vehicle 1. Infantry platoon, standard squads, Rogel Rough Rider detachments, Tyranid High Fleet Coremus, a Screamer Killer was spotted, a Barbed Hero Drill was spotted, Neuro Tyrant designated the Brain Bug was spotted, Termagants, Barbagants and other bioforms were present, or notably present. The executive summary: the 653rd Cadian Iron Guard Regiment was deployed to the urban sector of Viridian Spire on the Vogan Secundus to repel an invasion by High Fleet Coremus. The engagement fought within the dense confines of the city resulted in hard-fought Imperial victory, but at the devastating cost of personnel. The Iron Guard's disciplined urban warfare tactics, unwavering resolve, proved crucial in overcoming the Tyranid onslaught. Notably, the Iron Duke, the Rogel Dawn battle tank, and regiment infantry played pivotal roles in eliminating key Tyranid threats. Operational details. Now, this is split down into 3 phases. I'm only going to read you the initial phases rather than the detail it gives you afterwards.
Yeah.
So phase 1 is initial contact and street fighting. So initial Tyranid assault consisted of swarms of termagants surging through narrow streets and shattering buildings. The Iron Guard's infantry platoons deployed in layers defensive positions within the hab blocks, engaging Tyranids with concentrated lasgun and heavy weapon supports from barricaded intersections. Phase 2 is the escalation and key encounters. So the Tyranid offensive escalated with the emergence of a large bioforms, including a Screamer Killer and a Barbed Hero Drill. The Screamer Killer dropped into combat, ambushing Imperial positions from above. The Siren Talons tore through Cadian lines and causing significant casualties. The Iron Duke, under command of Colonel Harkin, became the focal point of the defence, moving down the main boulevards in engaging and destroying the Screamer Killer with its main battle cannon during the tension of the Barbed Hero Drill. The Barbed Hero Drill, a monstrous predator, launched a ferocious assault into the Iron Duke, using the narrow streets to try and flank the heavy tank. A brutal close-range fight ensued with the the Barbed Hero Drill. I don't know why it says Diamond the Barbed Hero Drill. The Barbed Hero Drill, claws and teeth tearing at the tank's armour. The Iron Duke, with its heavy armour and multiple weapon systems, and after taking substantial damage, finally destroyed the Barbed Hero Drill. This action... Ooh, why are you doing that? Go away. This action provided a much-needed morale boost to the regimental forces. Phase 3, the counter-offensive and the victory. With the Neuro Tyrant, which I talked about before, is now eliminated, the major Tyranid bioforms destroyed, the Iron Guard launched a counter-offensive with infantry platoons utilising their knowledge of the city's layout and systematically clearing Tyranids' resistance from the hab blocks and underground tunnels. The remaining Tyranid forces, disorientated and leaderless, were overwhelmed by the Iron Guard's combined arms, and the urban sector was considered purged. Casualty and losses. The Iron Duke sustained heavy damage but was repairable. The urban sector, Viridian Spire, suffered extreme structural damage. Recommend demolishing.
That's fantastic.
Further recommendations. Immediate resupply and reinforcements of the 653rd Cadian Iron Guard Regiment. Review and analysis of the Tyranid urban warfare tactics to improve further future defence strategies. Recognition of the Iron Duke and the Colonel Hacken for their exemplary service. And a full structural analysis of the Viridian Spire to ascertain if any sections are salvageable. It's pretty good, isn't
That's flipping awesome.
And there is loads more that I haven't read. So what I will do is
yeah.
I'll post it into the Discord if you want to read the full thing.
Yeah.
But that was me telling the notable moments of the Iron Duke killing those two fireforms.
Yeah.
The Iron Duke went down to 6 wounds, but he managed to they were in close combat, so you can't lock tanks.
Yeah.
So just full cannon fire into in the face of this Hero Drill and took it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good game. I really, really enjoyed it, and it was my first proper game with guards. There was lots of things I did wrong that we talked about with Liam afterwards, and lots of things that Liam kind of didn't do. But it was really fun. It was really good, really good.
Nice.
So next up, this is against Ben and Ben's World Eaters. So this is the Harvest of Carnage. It's on Vogue and Secundus still. All my narratives are now going to take place on Vogue and Secundus.
Oh, so there's lots going on.
Lots are going on.
You got to be careful of that. Otherwise you're facing like all
the armies. Yeah, it's fun. So it was an incursion scenario. The forces included were the 653rd Cadian Iron Guard and the World Eaters Berserker Warband. The deployment was a vast agricultural sector characterised by sprawling agri-fields, massive hydroponic domes and mechanised harvesting equipment. The Canadian forces...
Sorry, did you tell it that you were just playing on like a field board, or like how did you get?
So I
worked that bit out.
So I said that the terrain density was open. I spoke with Ben about the narrative that he wanted to talk about, and it was about being on an agri world and open terrain. So I just said it was an agri world. It was an agri field, and it kind of worked everything else out. And on top of that. And you can change it. You can ask it to say, okay, don't include this biodome, whatever thing. The Cadian forces established a defensive perimeter around vital grain silo complex, utilizing the terrain for cover. The Iron Duke Rogel Dawn battle tank was positioned at key intersection of roadways, commanding a wide field of fire. The World Eaters deployed aggressively, their force surging across the open fields. First up, so what I've done in this one is rather than asking it to do key phases and doing a report, I've done like key sections of the battlefield. So the first is the bloodied fields. The World Eaters advanced rapidly. The Forge Fiend unleashed volleys of ectoplasm, scorching the agri fields and targeting the Cadian shock troops, positioning in the cover of large harvesting equipment. The Khorne Berserkers, howling for blood, disembarked from their rhino and charged into the Cadian lines. The rhinos kicking up clouds of nutrient-rich soil spread across the fields, heading for the Cadian lines. The Demon Prince with wings, a terrifying silhouette against the sky, soared above the fields. The Cadian forces responded with precision. The field ordnance batteries in place with a reinforced irrigation facility began to rain down shells on the advancing World Eaters. The Scout Sentinels, using the tall crops for concealment, moved to intercept the flanking Berserkers. The Iron Duke, which, to be honest, reading that sentence out loud is what happened. It was a fucking mistake. The Iron Duke targeted the Demon Prince, its heavy cannons booming across the fields. Close quarters in the crops. This is the mistake. One Berserker squad moving through the field of genetically modified grain slammed into the Scout Sentinel, their chain axes shredding the light vehicle.
Yeah.
The second squad moving into the flank of the Cadian shock troops, their white and blue armour gleaming against the green crops. The Demon Prince descended, landing amongst the agri machinery. The Attilan Rough Riders, utilising their speed, launched a flanking manoeuvre. They rode through the field, their hunting lances lowered, struck a rhino, causing it to explode in a crowd of debris. The Iron Duke engaged the Demon Prince, its heavy weapons tearing into the monstrous creature. The Demon Prince, despite taking heavy damage from the Iron Duke, continued its assault. The Iron Duke and Cadian lines returned fire, and with a thunderous blast from the Iron Duke's suppressor cannon, the Demon Prince was destroyed. That section, my entire army, less one sentinel that was dead at this point, shot into the Demon Prince.
Yeah.
Did fuck all until the final shot of the Iron Duke took out the last one.
Feels awesome when that happens. Like.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool. And I'll talk to you about the Iron Duke in a second. Fields of Glory is the next section. Khan the Betrayer led his berserkers in a brutal assault into the Cadian shock troopers. The remaining Scout Sentinel, although damaged, unleashed a heavy flamer, setting the fields of crops afire. Setting the fire to the crops and the advancing berserkers. The field ordnance battery continued to bombard the World Eaters, their shells impacting amidst the fields. Holding the line, the World Eaters, now without the Demon Prince, began to falter. The Cadian forces, inspired by the Iron Duke's victory, held their ground. Ursula Creed's strategic brilliance ensuring that the Cadian lines remained strong. The Forge Fiend was destroyed by the ordnance batteries. Did that happen? Oh, must have. It's in here. Unless AI is embellishing my story.
Yeah.
Victory amongst the grain. So the
it's Imperium coded. It's like, yes, of course we won, and everything was great.
Not that we lost half the army, but it's fine. So victory amongst the grain. The World Eaters' assault had been broken. Khan recognised the futility of further attacks, ordering a retreat. Doesn't sound like Khan, but
that doesn't sound like Khan.
the remaining berserkers, leaving a trail of destruction across the agri fields, withdrew. The Cadian forces, battered but victorious, secured the grain silo complex. The outcome: the Astra Militarum forces emerged victorious, securing the vital agricultural sector. The Iron Duke Rogaldorn battle tank destruction of the Demon Prince was a turning point in the battle. The Rough Riders and the Field Ordnance batteries also played vital roles. Conclusion: the Battle of Harvest of Carnage demonstrated the Cadian Iron Guard's ability to defend the crucial agricultural assets. Despite the World Eater's ferocity, the Cadian forces, with their discipline, firepower, and unwavering resolve, secured a vital victory for the Imperium. There we go.
Feels very Imperium coded.
Yes,
it does.
Which is great, to be honest. That adds to it. Because that feels very... Like, I could read that in the codex. Like, I could read that in the codex of M.41, this battle happened.
What actually happened is I lost half of my... I lost 20 Cadian shock troopers, a command squad. The Cadian Castellan ran towards safety of the battery guns and then joined them or stood near them to give them some orders. It was a really good game. It was it suffered from the same thing that I'm probably going to talk about on all of my games. Is I played it after work from like 8 o'clock after I put the child down. So actually, all of the games I think I got to like maybe turn 4 maximum.
Just dead.
And I just I left Ben's at like midnight. 1 a.m. to play that game, and I was just so tired. But it was a really good game, really good time to play it. I also played Simon. I haven't done the AI write up for Simon,
we can look forward to that next one.
We'll look next time. But it was
that was really good. I want you to show me how to do that.
Oh, sick, easy. It's on. I use Google Gemini.
Yeah, I know. I want to sit with you doing one.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Because that's how I will learn.
But and also you can ask it to tweak it, so it will give you. So you could. So what I did was I uploaded my list. I uploaded the opponent's list because I've got it through the app that I use.
Yeah.
For it, so I upload their list, and then I said these key things happen. This was the outcome.
Yeah.
Like these are the scores. This was the outcome. These key things happened. Write me a report on that.
Yeah, because what I'd really like to do would be for us to play a game and for you to input it and me to input it from my point of view and your point of view.
Yeah, okay.
And that would be really interesting to see how it's different.
And
how it like embellishes the story. And I think that would be really, really cool.
Yeah.
But that was really fun. I really enjoyed just listening to that. So hopefully you guys did too. That was really cool.
I'll post them to the Discord so you can go and read the full first one. The first one I did them separately, but one after the other, so I didn't do it all in one sitting. The first one I had to ask it to change things that were just wrong. The second one, there was more narrative available for the first one. Yeah. The second one, there wasn't as much narrative available. Right. So hence why it kind of made up and embellished some of the story, the agri world and stuff.
To fill it.
Fill in that narrative and why we were there.
Which some games are like that though as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Sometimes you have that grand moment and other times it doesn't. Like, I like the thematic where it talked about like downing the Hirador and everyone's like, you could imagine the Cadians cheering and that giving them the boost of morale, which it talked about. Yeah. Like that's really thematic and cool.
My intention is to maintain that. So whenever I have a game, do it and almost create a chronicle of the 653rd.
I guess what I would say is every time it makes sense. So like if I am going, hey, I've got a free weekend, let's get a game in, and it's Space Wolves versus them. We've talked too long.
Yeah, so the plan in my head is to be able to, where you say makes sense to write the narrative down, where it kind of draws along, but to draw out this history of the 653rd. The Iron Duke being the what will happen is when I get more tanks, he'll probably be promoted to a Rogaldorn commander, rather than just a normal tank.
Yeah, because he's got the experience of working with the 653rd.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that a number that AI gave you, or did you?
I did it.
You chose that.
So
one?
It's the. Without wishing to dox myself, it's my first house number and this house number.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I couldn't think of a number, and I was like, I could pick a random one.
That's a cool way.
Or I could just be like, and I looked, and I couldn't see anything on the web about an existing Cadian 653rd. So I was like, that's cool. And then I realised how much of a pain in the ass it's going to be to freehand 653 onto flags. Yeah. So
stencil.
Why couldn't I pick 111?
That's a stencil or your little boob applicator.
So what I'm doing for I was talking with Liam after the game, and basically what I'm going to do with the Rogue Dawn is anytime he solo kills a monster or another big vehicle like him of his wounds or more, he will get a mark to say that he's done
a
it.
little skull or something.
Because he kills. He can kill troops and stuff. Like, he's got a lot of guns.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, I need to put some restrictions onto it being a monster or another vehicle of a same amount. The vehicle has to be the same amount of wounds.
Him blowing up a rhino is like, all right.
If he
takes out Land Fortress.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Land Fortress is the same wounds as him, I think.
Yeah. Probably.
And monsters are that it's going to be something like a Demon Prince or
you'll be controlled because we play mainly currently at 1,000 points.
Yeah.
So you're not going to come across loads.
No.
I can imagine if that list starts and games become 2K, and there's 2 or 3. He could kill 2 or 3 things a game, and then you're like, I'm putting 2 or 3 marks a game on this thing.
It might get to the point where that changes.
Yeah.
At the moment, I'm playing Liam. I might just do it against Liam for the campaign that we're somehow managing to fall into doing now.
Fair enough.
So yeah.
It seems like the best way of doing one because it's just loose, and when you guys get to play is when you carry on the campaign. Rather than we're meeting once a month to make sure this happens.
Exactly. And he said, when we talked about it, he was like, I had no motivation to paint these Tyranids.
No.
And now, because I knew I was having a game, and then he's had the game, he's like, and we've got another thing, so I want to paint more. And it's just the momentum. It's that momentum.
Over 10 years that we've run this podcast, we have always said, if you're not gaming, what's the motivation to paint?
Yep. Or have an impending game like an event.
Deadlines and things really help, but then they can also make you kind of go like, I've got to hit this deadline, so I will, but I'm not enjoying this.
Yeah.
Whereas doing this is like, there's no strict date, but we're going to try roughly around this time.
Yeah.
And we're going to tell a story while we do it. Like, that seems like perfect 40k in my mind. It reminds me of our weekly Tau versus Space Wars.
Yeah.
And like, just hearing that, I'm like, I wish we could have done that. That was around, and we thought about it because we played for over a year.
Yeah.
But it's like 50 battles.
Yeah.
That would have been an amazing story.
Yeah. But the anything about where to go next? I'm going to talk about later on. I'm going to talk about Ursula Creed when we talk about guards. So I'll talk to you more about it then. But I'm thinking I want to pull her out as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and go nameless.
To
so
nameless.
It's your
so
thing.
It's my thing.
Yeah.
But the benefits she adds are like so good. So at the moment,
but then you just rename her. You play Ursula Creed's rules, but you just call her something else.
I'm mainly thinking
that's not a problem.
I'm mainly thinking because having like I say the benefits she adds. The benefits she adds are cool, but they're not be all and end all. They don't need to be there. I'd rather have someone like
just more Castellans to kind of fill the gap.
Either another. So I was looking. So Castellans kind of confused me because Castellans are meant to be like we're meant to be the chosen of Cadia to defend Cadia.
Yeah.
And you picked one. So how do you have multiple Castellans?
Well,
So I need a bit more research into it to kind of. There must be a reason why, because it seemed like they're like bloody lieutenants. Or lieutenants, whoever you are. But at the moment, I'm really struggling not to do more tanks. I really want tanks. I really, really want tanks.
Well, your next 250 includes tank.
Includes vehicle, yeah. But
Two.
after that,
includes 2 vehicles.
Oh yeah, 2 vehicles. Yeah, that's true.
So you're already going from 1 to 3 in 250 points. So you're fine.
After that, I feel like it's going to be another.
Just every 250 points, I would just look to try and add something infantry / walker and something vehicle. And then that will constantly keep you in check.
I don't want to paint 40
no, but you don't have to do more. There's other units.
There are other units, which we'll go into later. Right, we've been talking about this for a very long time. Is there anything you wanted to add for games?
No. I'm excited to play next week. I am excited.
Oh, cool. Sorry, I was just going to stop. We will finish there. We'll have a quick break and we'll come back with our Kill Team segment.
Yeah, Operation Kill Team.
Operation Kill Team.
Hi, I'm Neil, and you may remember me from such things as Who's Neil? My dog ate my hobby project, and Tau, fish or friend. I'm here to tell you about our Element Games affiliate program. So as you may know, running the podcast does incur some costs. Hosting and equipment are just 2 examples of this. To help with these running costs, we have signed up to the Element Games Wargaming Web Store affiliation program. This is where Element Games provide us with unique links to their web store, and if you use our links, then we get a percentage of what you spend, big or small, to help run and improve the podcast. The links take you to Element Games homepage or straight to the 40k products category. Simply shop from there. You can find these links in our featured posts on the Facebook Community Safe Room, on our Discord channel, and on our Instagram. Thanks for your help and support.
So catchy, that little bit.
Love it. I love it. You know, every episode we do that.
I know.
I have to make a decision as to cut it out or not.
Welcome to Operation Kill Team. This month we are talking about actually starting to put models on the tabletop and play the missions. We are giving feedback on the joint ops playing. Now, when it says joint ops, that's what it's called. It also allows you to play solo. So you either take a kill team and control half each, or you take your kill team and play against the computer.
Yeah.
If you were playing a computer game. And yeah, we've given this a go and just here to share our feedback on how we felt about it. Being noobs, being uneducated in kill team games. That's a caveat I will throw in there as well. But yeah, who wants to start us off?
I'll go because it's nice and short. I didn't actually play. Which is a very letdown, and I've let myself down. I've let you guys down. I've let the podcast down. I've let every listener at home down, and I'm very sorry for that.
And make sure you tell him on all of our online things that Sam lets us down.
I have a few reasons. One, I actually forgot until Matt reminded me earlier this week. And actually, we'll talk about this probably a bit more later, but the motivation to play on my own was basically not there.
Mm-hmm. I think we all sing from that same hymn sheet.
Definitely.
Yeah, so let's not really let's talk about that later. So I guess maybe we'll start with Neil.
I think I managed to I tried doing it two ways. I tried downloading a load of bits and pieces for Tabletop Simulator on the PC because I thought this way I will be able to get a full table's worth of terrain set up.
Yeah.
I ran into a lot of problems.
It's logical because you've got a computer.
Exactly, and I can even do it in VR if I really wanted to.
Fucking nerd.
You know. I didn't.
Did you?
No, I didn't.
Have you played Tabletop Tactics in VR?
I haven't yet.
Okay. Oh, that's where you... For a second, I was like, VR, as in, I'm going to put this headset on and now I am the sniper.
I am the...
like, you know what I mean? A first-person game of 40k.
I mean, I would play the shit out of that.
There is a first-person VR game with Sisters of Battle in.
Okay.
That feels more like it's a different kind of game, yeah. What a nice boosty, eh?
I swear it has a... No. I want to stop that sentence.
Bad people.
Bad sister.
So...
Help me, step
Repent!
I'm stuck.
I'm stuck.
Where does the flavor go? Why does it burn when I wee?
Oh. Why did you go completely... That went completely left field very quickly there.
Sorry.
Yes, so I didn't really get on because I was trying to download all these bits and pieces to try and get it to work, and it just kept erroring out. So I was like, right, I haven't got time to try and do this now.
Yeah.
So I went about and actually sort of set up a table. I haven't got much terrain sort of suitable for this yet.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of struggle getting something. But
how many trees did you use?
I used all the trees. There were trees lying down. That's a funny
comment. That's a funny comment.
There were trees lying down. There was this, that, and the other. The Warhound Titan was at one side, and it's just, it I only made one attempt at it, but I mean the premise is very simple, in the sense that you.
Sorry, what word was that?
The premise. The premise.
The premise.
Yeah.
Well, I heard it called the premise. That's really good. I didn't know that. Sorry, that wasn't me taking the piss.
The premise. It's a bit like your Demon.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh God, don't.
Demon.
The premise.
There's no D at the end. Stop it.
Demon.
No. Demon.
Demon.
It finishes on N.
Scrap. Demon.
I'll even allow Damon.
David.
It is spelt that way. But no D at the end, please.
And How to Railroad.
It's weird. I thought you liked the D.
Wow. Only yours.
So the premise is very simple. You go and rescue a fallen member and drag them back to safety.
Yeah.
So tried to be a bit sneaky with crew, but in general, typical fashion of me, the computer player person got the better dice rolls.
Yeah. Brilliant.
You got beat by
Got beat by yourself,
By
basically.
yourself.
Yeah. You beating.
It's very simple in the sense that this character can only do this. These characters must follow these two.
You say it's simple.
Options. Can this?
Can they shoot and punch?
I hate the phrase NPO. I don't like it.
Yeah. NPC.
It's an NPC.
Yeah.
It's NPC. So forever we will refer to them as NPCs.
Yeah,
not
I will
NPOs.
probably go between them when I talk about mine because I understand O is operative and it's a word they're trying to use for kill team.
Yeah, but it's a
which makes
non-player
sense, but
character.
yeah.
Non-player character. It's a case of, can they see someone? Yes, right. What are they supposed to do if they can see? Oh, they have to go for them. Or they have to shoot them. Can they see someone? No. Right, okay. Do they need to... That kind of made sense to me. The stuff that didn't make sense to me was like, right, okay, you have 3 options at the beginning of the game that your operatives, your characters can do.
Yes.
And certain things will take priority over the others. And I was just like...
Yeah. There was definite kind of like, I don't know this, and so trying to play this on my own without someone else to ask was really difficult.
You haven't got a sounding board to bounce. Yeah. Right, does this make
How do you
sense
read
to
this?
you? Does this make sense? So yeah, I kind of watched a couple of videos as well online, and I just struggled with it in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, I don't think you're alone in that. I found it a real headache to get my head around the rules because they're brand new to me.
Yes.
And then to add on to that, although simple, I will take that. The NPC behaviors was like I just got in such a muddle.
Yeah.
So I attempted this mission twice. My first attempt, I just basically, without aiming to, ignored the behavior kind of threat principle and all that stuff and just kind of almost played 2 kill teams versus and so the NPC team with the deadly sniper up in the building just murdered me because I was just going, well, this guy's closest, so he's going to do a thing, or this guy is the, I'm going to shoot the sniper now because I'm getting close to the objective. And I didn't really get the way you're supposed to play through the NPCs. And I misread that the sniper reloads. So like every I was like,
to roll a dice.
I'm just going to keep shooting this guy and just keep murdering my own men.
So he shoots, and then you have to roll a dice, and that's how many
operatives need to activate before he's reloaded.
How many NPCs need to... Was it
so
both?
hang on. So you were just playing him...
I was just having him shoot pretty much.
He had a semi-automatic rifle as opposed to a bolt action.
So I'd use the sniper, and then the next turn I'd use one of the other guys, and then I'd go back to the sniper. And I was just like, this feels really hard to get anywhere near this character.
This was so overpowered.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh, I've not read this properly or at all. And so, my first attempt was very skewed, and I just I didn't get close.
Yeah.
My second attempt went better. One, because I'd got a hang of my own rules for the kill team a little bit better, and the actions and the process of just playing kill team, let alone all the added kind of stuff. So, it went a bit smooth. I'm very too gun-ho. I'm just going to run. I'm just going to run everyone out into the open and I'm just going to pray that my defense rolls are good.
I feel like that has all the subtlety of being a brick.
Yeah, it literally was. I was just charging forward, running up, wanting to stab everything with bayonets.
Have you thought about what kill team you're going to do because of that way you're going to play? Because surely you want one that can handle...
Maybe.
Like the demons or something.
Yeah. Well, so... there was a bit more like even casualties both sides. Things were going down, getting injured. I even injured the sniper a bit.
Cool.
Which was quite fun. I was like, if I can down him or get him hurt, then maybe his rolls will be a bit less powerful, and it probably wasn't the wisest move in terms of actually winning the game. I mean, this was after, though. It was kind of a revenge shot as well, because he'd blown the skull out of my Zealot and Bruiser, who had just run up the board, like I said, gun-ho, screaming, and just had their heads blown off.
Yeah.
I was just like, maybe I need to deal with this sniper. When actually what I should have just done is been a bit more concealed and thought about my movement a little bit. So that was funny. I eventually did get to the downed operative, and I slowly dragged him away. I lost the trooper in the process.
Right.
So the original one who was dragging him just got a bullet to the back of the head and went down.
Yeah.
And I was like, crap. So I then got a second one on and started dragging off. I did have to stop to go and cook dinner.
Yeah.
And then I was hoping to go back, but I didn't get a chance to go back. And then the next day I was like, I can't remember where I was at, whose go it was. And I was kind of over it, to be honest. I just didn't finish the mission to the actual conclusion.
Yeah.
My real takeaways from it were that I would rather just play 2-player kill team.
Yep.
Because then we can both work together on working out the rules.
Yes.
And making sure we're playing properly. And I'd maybe like to revisit this style of play when I know how to play the game kill team better. I think actually we said last month this could be a really interesting and good way to learn the rules. I actually think it's the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a really good way of having someone who knows the rules introduce a friend to it who can kind of lead them through playing the same kill team. I think actually that's what it's designed for. Because trying to do MPO behaviors when you don't really understand your own actions and how it works. Like my first game, I just assumed everyone could do one action when they have action point totals.
Yeah.
I just completely misread that. So I was running a guy forward and then just going, well, that's all he can do, when he could have still shot or what.
Yeah,
and I was making that basic a mistake. So I was like, well, this just isn't going to work.
Yeah.
So that was one of my big things. I really enjoyed when I was setting it up, and I was similar. I didn't really have the motivation to play on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't have it, and I was like, ugh. All right, well, and I put a building down, and I put the sniper in the top one. I thought, this is kind of cool. And then I used my 2 downed warhounds that I've got planned for my kill team board as some meta terrain and some barrels, and started putting stuff out. Deployed the 2 kill teams, and I was like, this is cool. This looks really cool. Like I could feel that itch and that little, oh, this is fun, which has encouraged me, because I think it's now gone, well, actually, I just want to play a person.
Yeah.
I just want to play kill team. Let's work out the kinks. Let's really get hold of it and go. And then revisit this maybe in the future if I want a different way of playing.
Yeah.
But I think it's not, in terms of playing solo, I don't think I'll ever try that again, because I just wasn't motivated to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't care enough to do it. Like, basically, if I've got time to do hobby and I'm solo, I should probably be painting. You know what I mean? Like, in my current context, I have friends that I can play. I need to be better at organising those games, but I can do that.
Don't we all? Yeah.
And so playing solo it doesn't intrigue me at all. Revisiting this and playing, I don't know, someone like a Ben Hillman, who isn't likely to get into Kill Team, but goes, oh, actually, we've got a couple hours. You know Kill Team now. Do you want to show me how it's like? Playing that joint ops could be really fun.
Yeah.
But that's the only way I think I would revisit it down the road. Okay. I also, on reflection, it was only one go, 2 goes technically, 1.5. Playing guard is really difficult. It's a lot.
Yeah, I was looking at this after you mentioned it, and so Kazakins don't have those rules, don't have orders.
Stuff. It might be because I'm trying to play off of the Death Corps.
Yeah,
because they're the ones that closely represent the models that I've got for the Catachans. Because the other guard ones, I couldn't have certain things, and I could have things I don't own.
Yeah,
and it was like, actually, this is the easiest way of playing with the Catachans.
Yeah.
I'm feeling like I would rather have a less model count, beefier kill team to focus on.
Yeah.
And do that. And then maybe when they do Catachans down the road, revisit that.
Yeah, I think so.
Is where I'm feeling at the moment.
It'll be easier. Like I was thinking with this, like going for a lower model count one would make it easier to learn the rules because there's less to do. Right?
Very possible. I think going from, Guard to Space Marine, for example, obviously is going to be a lower model count.
Yes.
But also just going to be a bit more basic and simple.
Yeah.
Whereas the Guard, you've got Guard orders, you've got ploys that you can play, which everyone has ploys.
Yeah.
But so you're trying to do orders on top of ploys, and some of the ploys allow you to do more orders. Some of the orders allow you to do extra action points. Like it's very intricate. And it's like I'm barely working out whether I can move and shoot. Like let alone how many action points can I do and how many what does that cost to do that? And it was a lot, and I was struggling, and I didn't have that second person to help me through it either.
Not quite.
I also think tokens and markers are going to be essential to play. Definitely. Like to know that I advanced or I'm concealed or I'm in engaging order, and the importance of that is, I think, massive. And you can't really notice you can't really do those with dice.
No,
because you'd be like, "What's that dice for? What's that dice?"
Why has that got 6?
There's so many options that I think having the markers that they produce slightly, or at least just printing them out and cutting them out in paper or whatever. Having those, I think, will be essential for me to play and know what's going on.
Yeah, I think so
that's something I look to do.
It's having that ability to go, right, that person's doing that. Okay, right, okay, I know that one's done.
Yeah.
Next one, so on and so forth.
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoyed using the sniper. My Katachan sniper was cool. Because his first shot, he's concealed. His first shot, it does extra damage. As I have no idea where it's coming from. And it says you can only use that version the first time you shoot the gun. Which I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And there was just so many little bits like that I was like, this is really cool. I could see myself really getting into this. But one, it's doing it, and two, it's doing it, I don't want to say the right way, but the simplest way that I can grab it. Yeah. But it has really made me go, I want to play this.
Which is good, which is nice, because that's kind of like the first sort of step towards it, right?
Yeah.
So
just having the terrain out was like, I want to play this. Just really beefy.
It has made me think about the army I'm taking, though. Like, it made me think maybe I want to go and look at something a bit more simple. Or a bit more, like, just smaller number, just to learn. I don't know.
Yeah, I am going to have a little flick through what's there. I mean, obviously, talking about the Space Wars and geeking out over that, the new Tyranid Ravener team is like 5 models, because they're going to be super beefy.
Yeah.
And I was like...
Do you have Raveners already?
No.
Well, you could do.
Yeah, well, yeah. But
the thing is, I look at it and I'm like, I don't really, at the moment with it, I don't necessarily want to go and buy another set of models that I may or may not use.
You've got like 4 or 5 though.
Well, yeah,
you've got the Orc one.
I've got the Orc one, but I don't have any of the tokens. That's the thing.
Yeah, the tokens are a little bit of a thing. I am genuinely thinking though of printing those out and just cutting them into paper, because they'll last a couple of games. Yeah, like they'll just thick paper would be enough for a couple of games.
Yeah.
If I've played a couple of games and I'm going, this is awesome, then I'll invest 20 quid on a third party one that's made them.
Yeah, very true. I just the Orcs ones make sense. They're quite a low count. Obviously, I've already got the Kazakhans.
Probably mid, but I imagine they're going to be simpler than any guard ones. Although, like you say, the Kazakhans don't have the orders stuff.
The Ratlins have gone on pre-order.
Yeah.
Which, again, I look at stuff like that, I'm like, I could run those in my Cadian Force, therefore maybe they'd be pretty good to have. Like, anyway.
Yeah, but I want to go through the kill teams and just kind of have another look and go, okay, what's here?
The thing is, there isn't many that...
Because, to be honest, I don't think I can field many of them.
But there isn't many that are large, like, low model count. Not really.
No.
They're all about 9 models.
No.
I wonder, in the data cards, do you get the tokens in the data cards? Or is it just the cards?
I don't know.
No, just
I haven't looked into it enough.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
But yeah, so there's lots of interesting things. I think trying to use this as a gateway into was a mistake.
Yeah.
And that's fine. This segment is all about us kind of fumbling through the year and trying out Kill Team. I also do feel like this is episode 3. We're at the end of March. We haven't tried to play a standard game of Kill Team. And I would say that should be our goal for next month.
Yes. I think we've
all played at least one, if not played each other. So we've all played 2 games.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Let's do it.
That's what I would love to do for next recording. And then we can share a real feeling of what we're feeling as a basic intro into the game.
Yeah.
Because I think it's going to take me minimum 2 games to just understand the game.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's try that as our next thing. Play a game of Kill Team.
Yeah.
Yep, sounds good to
So
me.
I don't know. Unless you got anything else to add, gentlemen. I think that was quite a succinct, quick Operation Kill Team, which is fine because it's supposed to be a quick game anyway.
Yep.
But yeah. If you want to check out the rules for Kill Team and particularly the joint ops way of playing, it's all in the Kill Team app that Games Workshop produce. You can download that. It's free, and you just download the rules for the Kill Teams and the different mission packs. It's all there, including the light rules to get involved and get playing. So yeah, maybe you want to join us on this journey of playing Kill Team this year. Who knows? But we'll take a quick break and then come back with our first ever faction focus.
I've got a brand new combine harvester and I'll give you the key. Alright there, my lover. Sometimes farming is hard work and I need a midweek break. So we started Mike's Midweek Hangouts as a midweek haven from the hustle, bustle and loud noises of the farm. These gatherings are held in Facebook rooms. You can join from the link found either in the Adeptus Terra podcast safe room or found in the Hobby Hangout channel on the Discord. If you want to get some midweek hobby progress in, why not grab your scrumpy and join Mike on a Wednesday from 8:30. See you there, my lover. Come on now, let's get together.
I'm slowly drifting back to the middle of the sofa.
Yes.
Yes.
If you noticed.
You got to sit up now.
Where's this? Why is it so lit? Oh, it's here. Okie dokie. Hello and welcome back to the very first faction focus spotlight. There we go. That's the proper
There you
title,
go.
isn't it? So the faction focus. The faction focus is where we're going to be talking about a codex or a faction, and we're going to be looking at it more from a gameplay point of view. These aren't limited to just 40k. Could be 30k. If we're going to do something over there, maybe we'll do that again. Or maybe not. So we're going to go through those. This is the first time we're doing it, so expect some ahs and some iterations to improvements and stuff. But I'm excited to talk about this because it's about the Astra Militarum Codex, which is fairly new. I've played a total of 3 games of it so far. So a lot of this was quite good, just to kind of go through and read and kind of cement my own knowledge. I'm not going to go through the stuff that we already know about. Like orders. Not really probably going to talk about orders because that's kind of pointless. Yeah, it will look focusing on sort of the new things around the focus, around the faction.
Sounds good.
So, the Astra Militarum, who are they? Often called the Imperial Guard by those that have been around for longer than 10 years, remains the largest fighting force in the galaxy, with a primary army, and described as the primary army of the Imperium of Man, composed of countless billions of ordinary men and women from millions of different worlds. The Guard serves as humanity's first and often last line of defense against the myriad horrors of the 41st millennium. One thing which is definitely very clear when you look into the Guard is that actually Black Library do a fantastic propaganda of saying that there are more Space Marines than there are, and that there are Space Marines everywhere in every fight. But actually, the majority of fights take place with the Imperial Guard.
Yeah, and there might be like 2 Marines.
Yeah, like maybe like a tactical squad of Marines. And again, Angels of Death, as I've watched it this month, is a really good example of that, where there's only 8 Marines in it, and they murderize the crap out of the enemy on that planet. But yeah, I think where you play 40k a lot and you kind of have used to lots of Marine armies.
Everyone has Marine armies, right?
Yeah, and you think, oh, maybe it's just Marines everywhere. Actually, the Imperial Guard are the ones who would actually be your bread and butter. Your bread and butter. Wow, words are hard. Your bread and butter of your factions and the majority of the heavy lifting, let's call it. So origins and organizations. So the Astra Militarum history stretches back over 10,000 years to the Great Crusade, where they are known as the Imperial Army. Over millennia, their structure has evolved, but the core purpose remains to provide the overwhelming manpower needed to secure and defend the Imperium's vast territories. So we have something called the planetary tithes. Each imperial world is required to raise and equip a certain number of regiments as part of its imperial tithe. These regiments vary wildly in terms of their training, equipment, and fighting doctrine, and this is reflected in the unique cultures and the environments of their homeworlds. You might have a heavily armoured Cadian shock trooper, a fierce Kasachin jungle fighter, a disciplined Valhallan ice warrior, not anymore, or the stoic attrition-focused soldiers of the Krieg. What we've done with the new relaunch is we basically denied existence of any other faction apart from Cadians, Kasachins, and Krieg.
You've got the Tanith as well.
Ish. Yeah, I guess.
they're
like one
in
unit.
there. They're slid into the.
There is only one unit of Tanith.
Yeah, okay, fine. But yeah, so we've basically denied all existence of everywhere else and kind of focused on these playable three. Yeah, there we
it's
go.
worth, and then because they're playable, they don't really focus much lore on
anyway. Yeah. So the regimental structure. So Astra Militarum forces are organised into regiments, typically numbering into the several thousand soldiers. These regiments are further divided into platoons, squads, and individual fire teams. The composition of a regiment depends on the origin and specialisation, featuring various combinations of infantry, heavy weaponry, artillery, and vehicles. There are lots of regimental structure diagrams that you can go and look at on the internet. To talk about like having maybe 10 platoons, having a platoon command squad sat above the 10 platoons. The platoons are then broken down into smaller units. This is moving a lot into smaller units.
Spinning. The whole thing.
Everything's spinning. Anyway, whatever. We'll just deal with it. So it's broken down into various groups, and you can go and see the doctrine. I'm pretty sure when they brought out the Armageddon campaign book, there was one in there for the forces on Armageddon.
Yeah, Steel Legion.
Yeah. So
yeah. I mean, I think one thing's to be said, same as maybe it's a little bit different to the Astartes, but they vary a lot, right? Like you said, you've got all these different combinations of infantry, heavy artillery, vehicles. They're borrowing some dudes from this regiment for that fight, and so it's like we have structure, but we also play with it. Yeah,
absolutely. You don't just fight in that structure. What they'll do is they'll be like, right, the 653rd Cadian regiment are going to be sent there.
Those famous ones.
The 653rd are made up of 6 platoons of infantry and then 2 armoured sections. And the armoured sections are
led by the Iron Duke.
Led by the Iron Duke. So it's not just a case of you would never just see, like with, again, probably because of the way the Black Library sell it, the Blood Angels have turned up. Not the Blood Angels' 3rd company have turned up. And the third and the companies in Space Marines are only like one of 100 in a chapter.
I think it's 100 in a.
No, there's 10 companies.
Yeah,
and then in each company there will be 10 squads.
Oh, made up of 100 Marines.
So each company is made up of 100 Marines, barring the Scout Company, which is a bit more fluid because they're constantly shuffling back and forth.
Oh, all right, Gulliman.
Yeah, because a chapter is roughly 1,000 Marines.
Unless you're Space Wolves, Blood Angels,
a company is 1,000, and we have 13 of them.
So you have way less numbers, whereas obviously in Astra Militarum you have way more.
Thousands and thousands and thousands.
So where it's very easy to go, right, the 3rd company are the heavy support companies. We made up of mainly big guns and slow-moving centurions, rather than the way that we do it. So, anyway. And you can't have the Astra Militarum without the Departmentum Munitorum. This is a vast imperial organisation responsible for the logistical nightmare of equipping, supplying, and transporting the Astra Militarum across the galaxy. They oversee tithes, manage recruitment, ensure the guard have the resources it needs, often falling short. And I've just started. I've remembered in our little break, I didn't really talk about this. I've just started listening to a new audiobook, which I'm just trying to quickly find the app for. Come on, Audible.
It's not an ice cream, Matthew.
I've just started listening to Cadia Stands, which is all of the Cadia regiments being pulled back to Cadia to defend it against the 14th Black Crusade.
13th.
Is it still the 13th? Okay.
It's the actual 13th
because we
were always on the edge of the 13th starting.
Right.
And Cadia blowing up was the start of the 13th.
Spoilers.
So we're kind of post 13th Black Crusade. Kind of. It's kind of like it's hard to say because obviously it's all still erupting everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, is it still the Crusade, or was the Crusade to blow up Cadia and now this is something else?
Yeah.
Like,
What was quite interesting in that is the Department Militarum factoring quite heavily at the start, because they're organising where the dropships land, disperse 10,000 guardsmen, and they're like, right, 1,000 you over there, 1,000 you to this field over here, you're being deployed over here, and they have to deal with all of that. Go, right, these are all your meal coupons to use in the ration tents. Like, and it's really interesting. Like, for a massive nerd like me, it's really interesting because you don't get any of that with Space Marines.
No.
So yeah, and then you have the Imperial Navy, which is the void ships, are the primary means of transporting Astra Militarum regiments to war zones across vast distances of space. These transports are often targets themselves, making them deployment a perilous undertaking. So yeah, basically just throwing ships at the planet to get troops down. Very similar to Starship Troopers.
Yes,
really.
right.
Yeah. Anyway. So, the role of the Astra Militarum. So, in the grim darkness of the far future, the Imperium faces threats on all fronts, and the Astra Militarum is deployed to countless war zones simultaneously. You have frontline warriors, so the Guard form the bulk of Imperial armies in nearly every major conflict. They often are outnumbered, outgunned by their foes, relying on sheer numbers, unwavering discipline, and overwhelming firepower to achieve victory. Their lasguns might seem weak compared to alien weaponry, but in mass volleys, they can bring down even the largest enemies. Number of dice kill high wound
Weighted dice, yes.
high wounded characters. You can defend against you with your 2-up, but can you make 60 2-ups?
Yeah. I will always remember, Liam reminded me of this recently actually. I was playing Tyranids and I had a Trigon that came out the ground right in the middle of his 100 guardsmen.
Yeah.
And the whole 100 shot at it, and it took the 99th shot to do the last wound, and it was so epic a moment that it's burned into our brains. And that game's before we started recording the podcast.
Yeah.
It's 14 years old, that game, and it's still
there
in our brain. It's so cool.
Next up is holding the line. So while Space Marines and the Emperor's are the Emperor's elite shock troopers, the Astra Militarum is the anvil, which enemy offensives are broken. They are expected to hold ground against overwhelming odds, buying time for reinforcements or the deployment of more specialised Imperial forces. The famous saying, "The planet broke before the Guard did," encapsulates their stubborn resilience. I'd say that. I've definitely, Battle Shock has done me dirty in the last 2 days.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking at adding a
They're
commissar.
still human.
They're still human. So commissars in 40, we're not going to talk about them, but in commissars in now, they have the ability to just kill someone.
Yeah, just shoot someone.
And then you automatically pass your battle shock test. Or if there is an officer present, you get to re-roll it first, and then you can shoot someone. It's giving them an opportunity.
Do you thematically then shoot the officer, even though it's worse for you? Just be like, I'm playing narratively. The commissar has said, get you guys in order. And if your officer then fails that reroll, does the officer take the bullet from the commissar?
Right, battle shock tests are so hard. It's a leadership test. You have to roll equal to or above.
Yeah.
So 7. I have to roll 7 or higher.
That's standard.
Which is nuts. Yeah. So difficult. Especially when you have people like Liam, whose one of his special abilities is, psychic in the warp. You all have to take battle shock test now, please. It's like, what?
Yeah.
What? Which the downside to battle shock test in 40k isn't that bad. You just can't hold objectives or have orders cast on you, which as a guard player is ultimately the majority of what you do.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one. Next up is the diverse battlefield. So from frozen tundras to dense jungles to scorched wastelands and the claustrophobic depths of hive cities, the Astra Militarum fight on every conceivable type of terrain. Regiments are often deployed to environments to suit their unique skills and equipment, though. However, even Cadians have winter gear, winter boots, summer fighting fatigues,
summer dresses. But it makes me think of the when we did the Baneblade variants, and there were certain ones that are this is the one you bring for urban warfare. This is the one you bring
short distances.
So it's carried out throughout the army as well. It's quite cool.
Tanks and artillery. So the rumble of Lehman Russ battle tanks and the earth-shattering barrages of Basilisk artillery are iconic aspects of the Astra Militarum's might. Those armoured behemoths and long-range guns provide crucial fire support for the infantry, capable of breaking enemy lines and destroying fortifications. So the leadership and command structures. So Astra Militarum officers from grizzled sergeants to decorated generals are responsible for directing the vast armies under their command. They issue orders, maintain morale, and make strategic decisions that can determine the fate of entire campaigns. Commissars can play a vital role in ensuring troops' loyalty and discipline through combinations of inspirational speeches and summary executions.
Yes.
Mainly summary
I was
executions.
going to say, mainly the second one. I haven't heard that many inspirational speeches. But I've seen plenty of bullets going to the back of heads.
Yeah. Which, again, I feel like I might need to add some to mine.
Yeah.
But then, what not annoys me, what makes complete sense is that you can only limit the number of attachments to command. You can only have two units attached to a command squad at a time.
Yeah.
Sorry, 2 units attached to a Cadian shock trooper at a time. So it's a command squad and a character at the moment. So I'd have to sacrifice one of my characters for a commissar, which slightly upsets me. Or I get a third squad. Cool. And then finally, sanctioned psychers. I don't have any sanctioned psychers, but I am psycho curious.
Yeah, of course you are.
Some Astra Militarum regiments include sanctioned psychers, individuals which control psychic abilities. These psychers can provide valuable battlefield support, from divination to telepathy to offensive psychic powers, but they are also very closely monitored for any signs of instability or corruption. So, the current state of Astra Militarum in Warhammer 40k. So, as of early 2025, the Astra Militarum received a new codex, the 10th edition of Warhammer 40k.
Yes.
This update brings with it new rules, attachments, refreshed lore, reflecting the ongoing conflicts and the evolution of the faction. I think this is probably the biggest shake-up in the Astra Militarum in a long time.
Yes, I think it has been, actually.
Mainly because of the swath of new units, the fact that they've plasticized the Forge World Krieg models into plastic availability. I was disappointed they didn't do Cadians, but I feel like that's being left for another wave. Not Cadians, Catachans.
Yeah, I think there will be a wave coming probably 6 months to a year's time, I would guess. Yes.
Okay, he's waving. So these are the main things that have kind of changed. So Death Corps of Krieg focus. The initial release of Astra Militarum in 25 heavily featured Death Corps of Krieg. So new plastic miniatures have been released, expanding their range and allowing players to field a fully Krieg army more easily.
More easily.
Their lore continues to emphasize their grim demeanor and determination and willingness to accept any levels of casualties in the Emperor's name. Do you know the background of Krieg?
No.
So Krieg,
vaguely, yes.
So the planet of Krieg had a internal war where basically both sides nuked the crap out of each other to create their own death world, and eventually the loyal side won. And as penitence to the Imperium, they basically are a 100% tithe planet. So they will just anyone they produce that isn't there to produce more people will be pumped out to the Astra Militarum.
The reasons for that because they murdered everyone else that could have been that percentage of population. They've got a smaller population now.
Yeah.
So it's now we'll just take everyone.
So they're basically in order to make up for the fact that they turned heretic on themselves and turned away from the Emperor on their own planet, they are not forced to. They want to die for the Emperor in the battlefield, doing it in the Emperor's glory. Very, 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 very brief.
It's very fatalistic, very uncaring. Will just murder and murder and murder because that's to them is the righteous way.
It's the fact that they don't apart from high-ranking officers in Death Corps of Krieg, they don't use names; they use numbers.
Yeah,
because it's you don't need a name. You are here to die for the Emperor. Why do you need to have a name and a personality and a thing? Like I can't remember what book it was. I started reading it. I stopped. Not because it was bad. I think I had to read one of the 30k books. But in there, it's a non-Krieg commissar being placed with a Krieg regiment, and him being like, I don't know who anyone is. Like, I know their numbers, but I don't really know who they are.
Yeah, all with their gas masks on.
How do you lead that? And because they don't take the gas masks off at all, if they can help it, because they're always ready to fight. And he's like, I know the officer of the platoon, but no one else.
Well, also none of them ever run away.
Yeah.
Because they understand that that's like they're paying for that. They've been indoctrinated to die.
Yeah.
So commissar's kind of like, no executions today, I suppose.
Well, that's when he just favours the inspirational stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like, onwards!
Remember your oath.
Yeah. So we also have a new Lord Marshal Dreer, a new character. Neil was going to talk about him a bit more, but he's been introduced, adding a new strategic leader to the Astra Militarum roster. His background and specific role in the current narrative are still developing, but he represents the ongoing need for strong leadership in the face of relentless warfare.
They needed him because they started wiping out a lot of the other named people out of the book.
Minka Lesk is the hero of Cadia. Minka Lesk, she also received new models alongside her trusted squad mates. One disappointing thing there is there are no rules for her. Like, there are no rules in the book for her
named,
for her named character. So while they brought her in, they haven't really.
Is there in her special command squad that you've picked up? You haven't got it yet.
No, I've got it. But in the box, there's no rules. There's in the back of all the building guides, there are like weird rules that don't actually allow you to play them. I don't really understand what they're for. They're there, but there's no rules in the book. There's nothing in there about how to play them. So unless I've missed a one pager, but they're not in the app, they're not anywhere on the download section that I can see. So I might be wrong. I probably am, but there's not at the moment. So she's kind of not pointless, but kind of pointless. So what are you doing?
Didn't do it. I'm just leaning forward.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, we're still here.
It feels like a delay.
No, I don't think so.
No, just me. Okay.
Just you.
There's a slight warble. I can hear it behind myself. I think it's probably my headset. Maybe it's that. Oh, whatever. Minka Les, the hero of Cadia. She's had more lore highlights come through. She's in another book, I believe. And yes, I think from the Black Library perspective, they're fully pushing down that way. The detachment variety. So the new codex introduces several specialist detachments. We're going to go through those in a second. Each one offering unique rules and focus on different aspects of the Astra Militarum's diverse forces. These detachments might emphasize armored warfare, mass infantry assaults, or strategic use of artillery. And then ongoing conflicts. So the Astra Militarum continues to be embroiled in countless conflicts across the Imperium. The aftermath of the Great Rift and the resurgence of chaos remain a significant threat, alongside the ever-present danger of alien incursion from races like the Tyranids, the Orcs, the Eldari. Individual regiments continue to forge their own legends on the battlefield, too numerous to count. They've kind of progressed it a little bit, but other than Cadia blowing up and them going on a bit of a rampage and the Rift, there's not really kind of any notable campaigns going on at the moment.
Fair enough.
Right, so there we go. That's better. No more delay. Right, so detachment review. So I'm going to go over the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5.5 detachments, and talk about the generalistically, and then go through a bit more detail on each one. So the combined arms attachment. This is one that I use. This is the default generalist attachment. It has rules such as Born Soldiers, which provides a solid foundation for any Astra Militarum army, enhancing the battle shock tests and providing bonuses to hit roles targeting different types of units. It offers a wide variety, wide array of stratagems covering various battle roles. I'm going to go through stratagems separately later. But so in this detachment, you have your Born Soldiers core rule, I guess is probably the best way of doing it, which if you are an infantry targeting infantry, you get lethal hits. If you are a vehicle or a squadron thing targeting a monster or another vehicle, you get lethal hits against those. So it's not like you get to shoot, you get lethal hits against everything, and it's a bit more balanced than that, but you shoot in your own type of thing, you get some better hits. Lethal hits, for those that don't know, is a natural roll of a 6, provides you an additional hit.
Okay.
I've said that with such confidence, and now there's
So yeah, if you
don't second guess yourself. Just be wrong. It's fine.
I don't.
I thought lethal hits was auto wounding.
Yes, sustained hits is an extra dice if you roll a 6.
Damn it.
So lethal hits is you wound.
Yes.
So you wound on no matter the what's it called?
So regardless of the toughness, if you roll a natural 6 or if
wounds.
you've got a buff that allows you to do it on a 5-up instead.
Oh, no, hang on. Lethal hits just means it automatically wounds. You don't roll to wound.
Yeah, it automatically wounds. Yeah. Unless you've got a character that lets you do it on a 5-up instead.
Yeah, weapons lethal hits in the profile are known as lethal hits. Each time an attack is made with such a weapon, a critical hit automatically wounds its target.
Yeah, so you don't need to roll to wound. Because that's how you get rid of vehicles.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's how I've learned with my Space Wolves. I don't have great access at the moment with the units I have for anti-vehicles. So actually just charging 10 dudes in with lethal hits will kill a vehicle way quicker than a las cannon.
Yes.
So next up, we have our enhancements. We have a Death Mask of Olaneus.
Ooh,
which is pretty cool.
That used to be a relic.
Did it? Cool. So you have that, which allows you to, rather than when you become battle shocked, you become 0 objective controlled. You subtract 1 instead, which is quite big for the Astra Militarum because we know how to hold objectives with our 20-man squads, but reduces by 1, which is cool. Dual Commander gives you, if you remain stationary, you get critical rolls of a 5-up. Grand Strategist means you can do an additional order. Reactive Command means you can issue orders that do not count towards your ordering limitation. So this is a very well-rounded one.
Yeah.
Well-rounded. Next up, we have the Siege Regiment, which is possibly the coolest one. Well,
of course it is for you.
Well, I mean, so you'd think I would take it, but actually I haven't. Anyway. So this attachment heavily favours attrition warfare and artillery support, aligning well with Death Corps of Krieg and the way that they fight. So the detachment rule, the artillery support, provides benefits to units that did not move in the shooting phase, enhancing the range and effectiveness of their range attacks. It also allows for the use of creeping barrage at the start of the battle round to potentially reduce movement characteristics of enemy units. And then if you're going to do this, focus on static gun lines, heavy artillery barrages, and resilient infantry holding fortified positions.
Yeah, this is actually talking about the Valhallans, and now obviously they're not here. That's their way of fighting as well.
Yeah. So you get creeping barrage, which is on a D6 for an enemy unit that is more than 12 inches from every model in your army. On a 5-up until the end of the battle round, that unit is shaken. And while the unit is shaken, it subtracts 2 from its movement characteristic and 2 from its advance and charge rolls. So a good way of slowing down the enemy to absorb some more fire. It's quite difficult to get off. A 5-up roll is not very hard. It's not very easy to obtain, but at the same time, it's not meant to, like, it'll be a massive punch in the dick if you were like, do you want a 2-up?
Yeah.
It's got to be balanced, right? We are fighting super soldiers, not necessarily just other guardsmen.
Or crazy alien creatures.
Yeah, or crazy alien creatures. You've then got incendiary bombardment. So any unit more than 12 inches away from your model until the end of the battle round, those enemy units are scattered. While a unit is scattered, it cannot get the benefit of cover. The maximum number of units you can select depends on the battle size shown below. So basically, no cover saves allowed. So if you've got one of those pesky hiding behind fortifications, getting better saves. Again, quite circumstantial. And then smoke shells. This allows your units to have the stealth ability. Maximum, again, is depending on the size. So incursion, so 1,000 points, so you can only pick 2 units. Their enhancements are Eager Advance, Flash Grenades, Legacy Sidearm, and Stalwart Honours. Eager Advance is you get to have a 6-inch scout ability if you are a regiment. If you're an infantry officer, you then get to give the unit you're with 6-inch ability to scout. So run forwards and then slowly move backwards as you're shooting the enemy. Flash grenades. So an officer, enemy units cannot fire Overwatch stratagem at the bearer's unit. Pretty powerful. Again, that would require you to charge someone, which I don't know if you'd want to do as an Astra Militarum. Some Astra Militarum units.
Yeah.
Legacy's firearm, it allows you to add 2 to the attack's characteristic of the bearer's pistol. So get a little 4-shot plasma pistol. And then Stalwart Honours, while the bearer is leading a unit, when that unit is issued an order, it also takes the take. It also affected by the take cover order, so you get a +1 to your save.
Cool.
So yeah, cool. Next up, we have Mechanized Assault. This is definitely a little bit of me. Not so much as the next one.
A little bit of the Steel Legion.
So this attachment emphasizes fast-moving armor transport, delivering troops directly to the enemy. To the enemy, into the enemy, to the enemy. This attachment rule, Armored Fist, enhances the offensive capabilities of units after they disembark from transport in the same turn. And then the focus for this will be aggressive mobile assault using chimeras, Tauroxes, and other transports to deliver infantry and lighter vehicles into close range. So like it says, you have the Armored Fist attachment rule, which when you are disembarking... when a model from your army makes a ranged attack on the turn it disembarks, you add 1 to the wound roll to make it kind of a better kind of like shooting kind of ability. So Taurox, I think. Oh, sorry. What are they called? Chimeras are
multi-lasers, right?
No, it's not from the thing. It's from whoever get out. So
Oh,
you drive out the board, deliver your squad of 10,
Yeah,
12,
I don't know
whatever.
how many they can hold.
I can't remember. It can't be 20. It's not that big, is it?
No. Well, no.
Where's my test bed?
Probably 12 or some. Like, they have weird numbers now, don't they?
Chimeras can hold transport 12 Astra Militarum models,
Okay.
and then Ogrins take up three space slots.
Yeah.
So 12. Not a big one, but if you drove them up and jumped them out, pew pew pew.
It's about having 6 do that.
Yeah.
So you got 60 dudes to go and pew pew pew.
Yeah. Right,
With
the enemy.
plus 1 to wound.
But then my concern there is they're then just there, which is 60 t-shirt saves there.
But it's mechanized assault, so you got Rogal Dawns and other things to kill other things.
Yeah, you're not untrue, but it doesn't. Like the next one is all about vehicles, so this one's about mechanized infantry more than mechanized like assault vehicles. Anyway, I'm not going to go through the enhancement here, but it's effectively just vehicle enhancement. So you get you can reroll hit rolls. You can you get the benefit of cover and stealth if you're in 3 inches of a friendly transport model. That kind of stuff. Pretty good. Next up is the Hammer of the Emperor. This attachment is built around armoured spearheads and the overwhelming firepower of tank squadrons. So the attachment rule is Iron Tread. It provides benefit to vehicles, particularly when they remain stationary or move a limited distance, enhancing their shooting accuracy and survivability against certain attacks. Focus is mainly on heavy tank armies, utilising Lima Russes, Rogal Dawns, and other armoured vehicles to dominate the battlefield firepower. So the Iron Tread, each time a squadron unit from your army advances, do not make an advance roll for it until the end of the phase. Add 6 to the movement characteristic of the models in that unit, and when making that advance move, that unit can move within engagement range of enemy models, but cannot end within engagement range. So you can get really close to them, but you can't stay in engagement range. So surround the enemy.
Yeah.
And then their enhancements are kind of what that was also alluding to, where you can get feel no pain in your vehicle, because why not? It's only for one, but it's the officer, so your officer model gets feel no pain, and it's only a 6 up, but it's still fun, feel no pain.
Still something.
Next is add 3 to the bearer's objective control characteristic, so you can have a
nice
super high objective control
nice
command vehicle, and then veteran crew. So each time a model in the bearer's unit makes a ranged attack, you add to the hit roll. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And then finally, in our full ones, was the recon element, otherwise known as Kata-cha-cha-chans.
Yeah.
The recon element, the detachment focuses on stealth, infiltration, and outflanking maneuvers. The detachment rules: the Master of Camouflage grants benefit of cover to the Astra Militarum regiment and Walker units. If they already have the benefit of cover, their save characteristic improved by 1 to a maximum of 3+. So yes, focus using Scout Sentinels, Rattlings, infantry, with a focus on tactical positioning, disrupting the enemy deployments, and seizing objectives through guile. So, sneaky, hide.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Masters of Camouflage is the rule we were talking about before. You get the benefit of cover while the model has benefit of cover. For any other reason, improve the save characteristic by 1. You get cover, basically, wherever you are. It's pretty cool. Cool. And then the half one. So this is the Bridgehead Strike Force. This was given out at the Grotmus Calendar promotion and focuses on establishing and defending key strategic locations. Rules and stratagems likely revolve around holding ground and punishing enemies who try to dislodge them. So, so key considerations for fighting with these types would be if you have a different playstyle, there'll probably be one of these attachments for you.
Yeah.
So sneaky people running around quite quickly, scout moving, armoured vehicles, armoured troop transports, the general gun line, and then the general shoot everything one. There is one that will fit you.
Yeah, and there's definitely going to be ones rules-wise that are better compared to others, but I love the fact that they've gone, okay, we may be thinning down lore in terms of like some characters have gone to legends and some of the regiments aren't even really represented, certainly in terms of kits currently, but you can still do Valhallan Ice Warriors because here's a detachment that fits them very well. And you know, and if you're not that bothered on having the best list, then you can, the detachments I'm sure all viable but don't matter as much, and you use them to theme your army rather than win the game.
Yeah. Right, so this is obviously not a codex review. We're not going to go through in depth as to every unit, everything you can do. What I think is best is we're just going to talk about the combined arms detachment stratagems. Because I've played the faction I use in the
you're running combined arms.
I can't really talk very much to the others, and it's very different to how I play. So we're going to talk about the 6 that come underneath combined arms, and then if you're interested in reading more about the stratagems, then pick up the codex, have a look, or find a version of that somewhere, and have a look at the other stratagems.
And so, if you are a guard player and you play some of the other stratagems because you use different detachments than Sam is using, then get in touch over our Facebook and our Discord and throw out I love this stratagem because it's really great for my armoured regiment or whatever. It'll be really cool to see how other people are using this codex. But for Sam, he's taking combined arms, so that's what we're focusing on in terms of stratagems.
So, stratagems, they have 6, like I said. You have the coordinated action, reinforcements, flexible command, field of fire, inspired command, and stalwart protector. So starting with coordinated action, this is happens at the start of any phase. You can target 1 regiment unit from your army and 1 squadron unit from your army within 6 inches of and visible to that regiment unit. So the regiments are effectively your troop choices, any boots on the ground, and then your squadrons are vehicles or scout sentinels, that kind of thing. So 1 regiment unit from your army and 1 squadron unit from your army within 6 inches and visible to that regiment unit. So a vehicle close to a regiment unit. Until the end of that phase, orders affecting one of your units affect the other one and vice versa.
Nice.
So this is a way of sharing orders. Orders are really important in Guard. They kind of add that extra flavour. Gives you +1 to your BS. +1 to weapons.
It's like fixed bayonets and all the classics that we've known for years, really.
Yeah. So
what, first rank, second rank fire.
So move, fixed bayonets, take aim, first rank fire, second rank fire, take cover, duty and honour. Yeah, duty and honour are probably the best one because it gives you +1 leadership and +1 objective controlled.
Okay, so good for holding and less likely to fail your battle shock.
Yeah. Cool. So that's a way of sharing your orders. So if you've got a vehicle quite close by or a squadron quite close by, then you can share it that way. Reinforcements. This is the one I probably use the most. So reinforcements is any phase, instantly any phase. 1 infantry regiment unit from your army that was just destroyed. You can target that unit with this stratagem, even though it was just destroyed. The effect is to add a new unit to your army identical to the destroyed unit in strategic reserves at its starting strength with all its wounds remaining. This stratagem cannot be used to return destroyed character units to your attached units. So basically, you bring back a troop choice. Effectively, you're bringing back your
another
Death
20
Krieg,
man.
your Cadian shock troops, or your Catachin jungle fighters troop choices. Effectively, everything else is character. Or not infantry. I guess Cascans would be not character, so they would.
Cascans are fun.
Boots on the ground, no one special in it, basically. I've used this twice now. It's pretty good to bring back 20 boys back onto the board.
Yeah.
That costs 2 command points. Quite pricey, and because it is done at the point a unit dies, you need to always have 2 command points ready to go.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So there is a downside to it. And with Ursula Creed, she lessens by 1 command point. So technically it's 1 command point, but
that's a really good.
She needs to be within that 6-inch bubble of them.
12,
I think 12-inch bubble of them. I think so. Again, depending on how you're playing it, like her bringing back her own squad is pretty good. But yeah, it's all like that synergy of playing it together.
I'm assuming because they're in strategic reserves, they just walk on the table. Next turn.
Yep.
Unless they've got the ability to like turn up 9 inches away.
No, they don't. Not. Well, I mean, unless they do, but they.
Well, I'm just thinking of the Scion Aquilons,
the Deep Strike Aquilons,
the Deep Strike guys. If they die and you could do this, I wonder if they can reappear
9 inches away.
9 inches away.
Like, haha.
Well, it's just a different unit.
Cool.
It's reinforcements. It's not resurrection.
Yeah.
So it's just another squad coming down.
Yeah.
So I would probably argue they can.
Yeah.
Because
I'd need to look to make sure they are in.
Yeah, it's a very specific thing, so we shouldn't get bogged down by it. But just an idea, just interesting. Like Ratlings, I imagine, because if Ratlings aren't character and they count as infantry, they probably have a very similar rule because they're sneaky, set up sniper spots.
They are infantry, grenade, smoke, Imperium regiment, Militarum Tempestus. They could come back. Yeah, that'd be fun. Cool. And then flexible command. So this is a 2 command point again. In your command phase, any number of Astra Militarum officer units from your army until the end of that phase, your officers can issue orders to regiment units and squadron units. So typically, an infantry character can only issue to their own type. So if you've got a tank commander, he can only issue to tanks, or sorry, that's not the right word, but tanks, squadron units. And if you've got a infantry unit, they can only issue to regiment units. But this one allows you to issue cross vice versa. Again, quite pricey, but if you've lost a lot, or it's really vital for you to take something down, like take a big target down, and you've got vehicles next to you, giving that order out is pretty cool. Fields of fire, 1 command point. In your shooting phase, 1 regiment unit and 1 squadron unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot this phase. You can select 1 enemy unit until the end of that phase. Each time your selected regiment and squadron unit make an attack that targets that enemy unit, improve the armor penetration characteristic by 1. So suddenly your 0 AP lasers become AP -1.
Yeah, that's not. That's all.
60 AP -1 lasers. I
was going to say that's going to do a lot of damage.
Yeah, cool. And then next is inspired command. 1 command point. Your opponent's command phase. 1 Astra Militarum officer unit from your army. Your officer can issue 1 order as if it were your command phase. So in their command phase, if they're like starting to look like they're coming towards you, or you forgot to give an order, throwing this out there to give, I don't know, cover.
Yeah.
Or to give fixed bayonets if you know you're going to get charged or something like that, which is pretty handy because you can only issue 1. Majority of command squads can only issue 1 order.
Yes.
To your units. That's why you have like synergy of 1 with multiples together. They can cast out further around the units that aren't with them. I'm pretty sure units can only have one order affect them at a time.
Unless it's Ursula Creed giving it to.
Yeah, unless
I think that was special.
Officer models can issue orders in your command phase, the end of your phase, until your command phase, until that unit selected affected by the order. Unless otherwise stated, the unit can only be affected by 1 order at a time. Yeah, so normally, unless you have something that changes that rule, you can only be affected by 1 unit at a time. Whereas this would mean, so you could go, I don't know, the take aim, which gives you +1 BS, and then they suddenly didn't die in that phase, and they stood like 9 inches away. In their command phase, you can be like, right, I'm actually going to issue the first rank fire, second rank fire, or I'm actually going to issue fixed bayonets to give you a better
combat.
Yeah. Again, 1 command point. And then finally, Stalwart Protector, 1 command point. Your opponent in your opponent's shooting phase, just after an enemy unit has selected its targets, 1 Astra Militarum vehicle unit from your army. Until the end of that phase, each time a ranged attack is allocated to an infantry model from your army, if that model is fully visible to every model in the attacking unit because of your vehicle, that model has the benefit of cover against the attack. What? Stalwart Protector, when your opponent's shooting phase, just after an enemy unit has selected its targets, target 1 Astra Militarum vehicle unit from your army. The effect is until the end of the phase, each time a ranged attack is allocated to an infantry model from your army, if that model is not fully visible to every model in the attacking unit because of your vehicle, that model has the benefit of cover against it. Right, okay. So, if you've got a vehicle, if you've got troops hiding behind a vehicle for some cover, you play this order, you play this stratagem, you get the benefit of cover because you don't get cover from standing behind your own troops anymore.
Okay, yeah.
So this gives them that cover.
Yeah. Kind of makes sense.
Well, yeah. Cover's weird in this edition. I haven't quite figured it all out.
Yeah, it is kind of a bit odd.
So, yeah. But that's all of them. So that's stratagems. I find that stratagems are easily forgotten, especially when you have to deal with orders. But actually, even rereading those makes me feel like I'm missing out. Like Fields of Fire, for example, or the Inspired Command is one I definitely should use more. Yeah. You obviously get access to the normal every army stratagems like command rerolls and stuff, but we're not going to go into those because everybody has access to those. But these are the special ones for Astra Militarum, for the combined arms detachment.
Yeah, that you've been playing with, right?
That I've been playing with. So,
cool.
Next up, we are going to look at some units. So I'm going to pass over to Matt. He's going to start going through Sly Marbo and also the Catachin Jungle Fighters to start with. Oh, and a Hellhound.
Yes, indeed. Are we going to circle back round to the important considerations as like a round out after units? I think that'd be worth doing, but I think
actually no. Let's do it
might fit better at the end because otherwise we just finish with units. It's up to you.
Yeah, actually, let's circle back around to that.
Yeah. Cool. So Sam, I don't know whether he's just thinking this might intrigue me into playing my Catachans.
I picked them because I wanted to pick Cadians, Krieg, and Catachans as the new focus
main
thing.
three,
and it would mean you'd cover off of their own specific rules anyway, which is good. But I also thought who to pick for what, it would make sense because you have Catachans and you might play Catachans.
I was very excited to see them, but I was just like, trying to get me to build a bigger army again. I don't need much of a push. First we have Sly Marbo, just going through his stat line. So keywords is infantry, character, epic hero, so you can only have one of him. Grenades, Imperium, regiment, and obviously his name, Sly Marbo. He is equipped with a Ripper pistol and an envenomed blade. His core abilities are Infiltrators, which is set up 9 inches away from the enemy. Lone Operative, which basically can only be targeted if he's within 12 inches of an enemy, if he's on his own. If you attach him to a squad, then he gets murdered with the squad.
Yes.
But if he's running around on his own, then... Which is what you should be doing with him anyway.
Yeah.
Actually, he doesn't have leader, so I don't think he can get attached to a squad. But anyway. And then stealth, which is -1 to hit when targeted, which is nice. So he needs to be within 12 inches, and then you still get hit with a -1, which is quite nice for his little survivable head. He's, I think, since the last points update, he's 55 points. He's been dropped a little bit. And let's go through his stat line and weapons, and then I'll go back to some of his special rules to round him out. So he has movement 6, toughness 3, save 5 up, wounds 4, leadership 7+, and objective control 1. So he's a bit squishy, as you can imagine. He's wearing a tank top, so he's not got the best armor save. But you need to be within 12 inches of him to be able to actually shoot him anyway. His Ripper pistol is anti-infantry 2+, a pistol weapon with precision. I actually had to look this up because being an uneducated 40k player, precision allows you to allocate successful wounds to characters in squads if they are visible. So he can ping off shots and kill off officers or medics or whatever.
Does that bypasses the you can't target characters anymore?
Yeah.
Nice.
Which is pretty cool.
I mean, a precision pistol that's 12 inches.
Yeah.
Useful, but you're 12 inches away.
Yeah. It's attack 3, hits on 2s, strength 5, -1 AP, and 2 damage. So not too bad. His melee weapon is his envenomed blade, which also has anti-infantry 2+.
And precision.
So that's quite cool.
Yeah. Pretty
in combat, just suddenly stab the
character.
Yeah, sergeant in the neck. It has 5 attacks. Again, hits on 2s. Strength 5, -1 AP, and 2 damage. So his pistol and his knife, other than the attacks, are exactly the same
fair enough.
in thing, which I found really interesting. He has a rule called One Man Army, so
which makes sense as to why he's not a leader. Attached to people.
Yeah. So once per turn in your opponent's shooting phase, when an enemy unit makes a ranged attack that targets a friendly regiment unit within 3 inches of this model, after that enemy unit has shot, this model can shoot as if it was its shooting phase. It must target the enemy unit that has just shot, basically. So it's returning fire.
It's like what they're intending you to do is to run him next to a unit, and not with that unit.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah, it makes some sense, I suppose. This was actually tightened up in the codex. So it used to be that you could shoot any unit. Right. Just as long as...
oh, hang on, they shot you. I'll just take you.
Yeah, I'm just going to shoot over there. Yeah, so it kind of cleaned that up a little bit, which is interesting. And then he has like fighting a shadow. So in your shooting phase, after this model is shot, if it's not within engagement range of one or more enemy units, it can make a normal move. If it does so until the end of the turn, this model is not eligible to declare a charge. So it can move, shoot, move. Which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Helps with the manoeuvrability. Also helps you to back away, move forward, shoot your pistol, move back.
Yeah, and then be outside of the 12 inches so you can't get targeted either.
Yeah.
Or move, shoot, even if you think you can't do much damage, or but then it gives you another move to get onto an objective, get into a corner to score a secondary.
Yeah.
You can always cheat and use it as just a way of getting somewhere quicker. Which is really interesting. For 55 points, I think he's a cool little character, and annoying more than anything.
I think that's it, right? You just have him to create flavour and fuck with people.
Yeah. He's not massively like, you must take this guy.
No.
Even in a Catachan force, you don't need to take this guy. I mean, he cannot be your warlord. So he's kind of a character that you're just choosing to have.
Yeah.
But I think it's just a little extra screen or hold up unit or grab objectives. He's just going to do a little bit of work, and he's a fun character to include.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of model, he's an online only model.
Yep.
It used to be it's the same one as the limited edition store pickup,
right?
Which I got ages ago. It was years ago. I want to say it was around a Christmas time, but I don't know if it was.
Can't remember, but
it came in its own little box with special rules and a little poster, which was really, really cool. I love the pose and the sculpt. The only thing I would say is that his knife is like in the head of an orc on the base, and so it feels a bit weird if you're not facing orcs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those kind of slightly bugbears that I have. I think it's an awesome model. And that's my first guy. My next ones are the Katakan Jungle Fighters themselves. They're 65 points for 10 or 120 for 20. Up to 20.
Cheap.
Yes, nice and cheap. The backbone of any Catachan army. For every 5 models in the unit, you can chuck out a lasgun and take a flamer. So they're got a role clearly in mind, because you can't take any other special weapons.
Just you are flamers only.
Yeah. And for every 10, you can have a Voxcaster.
Okay.
He's basically can be equipped with a Voxcaster. It doesn't change the lasgun, that stays there, but he's just got a Voxcaster. You can have so it's either 1 jungle fighter sergeant and 9 jungle fighters, or you can up that to have 2 sergeants in the 20-man squad.
Yeah. Do you know that purely is because, in my opinion, that's purely because you can get special weapons on command on sergeants.
Yeah. So the sergeants are equipped with las pistol and close combat weapon.
Oh, they can't even get anything else.
Nope.
Ooh, why would you have 2 then?
Just because they must give you a bonus.
You can't even take plasma pistol. Man, they fucking hate Catachans, don't they?
Let me have a quick look.
Maybe you're not getting a plastic army with these. Like, it doesn't seem like they've kind of gone.
They're interesting with their abilities and stuff, so we'll get there. The unit can have up to 2 leader units attached, which you were saying earlier. So, and not more than one of them can be a command squad.
Yeah, you can't double up command squads.
If it does, and this bodyguard unit is destroyed, the leader units attached to it become separate units with their original starting strengths in terms of battle shocks.
What is cool though is the Catachan command squad. We're not going to cover that. That's not anyone's.
Yeah.
They get 6 inches scout.
So do the jungle fighters.
So they'd also get. Oh, maybe that's a universal Catachan thing.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be basically. So going through their standard rule set, they move 6 inches. Their toughness 3, 5 up save, 1 wound each, 7+ leadership, and Objective Control 2. Their ranged weapons are obviously the Flamer that they can have 1 per 5, which ignores cover and has Torrent. I think I wrote down what Torrent does, but maybe I did not.
Torrent is
auto wounding. No, auto hitting.
Auto hitting, yeah.
That's what it is. Yes, which is why the BS is NA, because they auto hit.
So the Catchin Command Squad ability is Gun Ho Command. Which is, while this unit contains an officer, the ranged weapons equipped by models in this unit have the assault ability.
Nice.
So all of a sudden you've got assault melta guns.
Well, which can't have melta guns.
No, sorry, in the command squad as well.
Oh, right, in there. Yeah.
So assault gives you
shoot and charge?
Shoot and charge, hang on, let me just double look.
Because las guns are rapid fire.
Yeah.
So if it makes the las guns assault. Oh, is it assault is you can advance and shoot?
Quite possibly.
Assault. Weapons with assault in the profile are known as assault weapons if the unit has if a unit that has advanced this turn contains any models equipped with assault weapons, it is still eligible to shoot in this turn shooting phase. So basically you can advance and then shoot all your guns.
So you can scout 6 inches.
Yeah. So
before the game starts.
That is
right.
Yeah, 6 inches. Yeah.
Then you can move and advance.
So advance is a
6
roll.
and then a roll.
Yeah.
So you're already 12 inches just with the scout and the normal move.
Yep.
So you're talking up to 13, up to 18 inches from your starting point from deployment. And you can still shoot. So you're very quick.
But then you are
very close.
But you've got flamers.
They're 120 points. I'll have loads of them.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. You advance your whole army straight forwards. You flame the, like I found flamers on, because I run mine flamers and melters, and the flamers are not that good.
Yeah.
On the infantry, the scout ones are the scout sentinel ones are pretty good.
Yeah, well, they're heavy ones,
flamers. Yeah. So on the infantry they're not good, but with weight of dice, if you've got 2 in a squad, 10 squads.
Yeah.
Then because 10 squads is 1,020 points, 1,200 points, isn't it?
Yeah. This is
maybe
mass infantry running around everywhere. Interestingly, when I was looking at these guys online, a lot of people were saying the scout works really well with chimeras.
Yeah, okay.
Because you can scout the chimera forward.
Yep.
Then you get the movement of the chimera.
Yep.
Then you can get out of this.
Yep. And then rapid fire.
And because obviously when you get out of a tank that moved,
yep,
you just have to be like placed next to the tank.
Yep.
You don't get your full movement.
No.
But you can advance.
When did you get out? In the shooting phase? The moving phase?
Yeah.
So
tank moves.
Move.
You get out
at the end of it. You then advance.
Normal, if a tank hasn't moved, you get your full movement characteristic.
Right.
If it's moved, you just get out and you have to be within 2 inches, 3 inches of the vehicle. But you can advance.
Okay.
Which they can advance and shoot.
So you get even further.
Yeah.
So what does a chimera move?
I don't know.
I
didn't get that far down the rabbit hole.
Chimera moves 10 inches.
Yeah.
So Scout 6.
Scout 6, then move 10.
So 16 inches.
Then get out.
Then get out.
Within
3 inches.
3.
Let's call it your 3.
Because your back guys are obviously a bit further back.
16, 17, 18, 19 inches. Advance, roll
up
a dice.
To potentially 6.
So
could be 1.
Could be 1.
Yeah.
More than likely going to be 1 if it's me. But at that point...
It's very similar. It's actually not that much more. But you've also got a tank there.
But at that point, you're nearly at you're at 24 inches worth of movement.
Yeah.
And then you shoot your 12-inch gun. Sorry, your 24-inch guns, rapid fire, 12 inches. Mm. Yeah, I like it. It's a one-trick pony. As soon as the enemy retaliate, you're fucked. But
yeah. It's just overwhelming on a flank or something. I could imagine it. Maybe that's where that helps. But it's an interesting tactic with them. They also have a rule called Jungle Fighters. So each time a model in this unit makes a melee attack, if this unit made a charge or was charged, they get add 1 to the wound roll.
Oh,
okay.
So just beefy dudes.
I like that it's also if they were charged as well as charged.
Yes, it's both.
Like it's not like if you don't charge, you're fucked.
Yeah. And that I can go through the las gun profile and everything else. I don't know if we need to do that.
I don't think so. Las guns. Las guns are 24 inches rapid fire 1, so 12 inches you get an extra shot, 1 shot, 4 up, 3 strength, 1 damage. Pretty straightforward. They're really, really good in mass number.
Yeah, and these guys are that. They are
But
basic.
then you layer it. At that point, you layer it because you've got the rapid fires. You got your 2 shots. You give your order, which gives you an extra in your half range. You get an extra shot in half range. So then you've got 3 shots. A 10-man squad, probably 9 at that point, doing what? Just shy of 30 shots per guy. Wow. Sorry, 30 shots per squad.
Yeah.
10 squads of those. 300 shots. Come on. You'd kill probably one custodian.
Or one demon prince.
Non-demon prince.
But they are basic to the line, and like I say, I think they are slightly more basic than the Cadians and the Kriegs. I mean, Cadians holding objectives without them being on them is a really tasty ability. That's what theirs is.
One objective.
Yeah. But one objective per squad.
Yeah.
Like,
You're right.
So it could be really gnarly. And the Kriegs basically get better the more they lose.
The more dead they are.
They get more aggressive and more able to hit and various buffs, which sounds fun and thematic. I think scout ability could really come in handy. Like a lot. I hear a lot that movement is what wins and loses your games.
Yes, because it's getting objectives.
Yeah,
Objectives win.
If you get a decent load of secondaries, and it's like hold objectives in no man's land, that scout ability could really come in handy.
So there was an article in White Dwarf. They've got like a tactician section now, and it's written by Steve. Is it Stephen Reed, the guy that does Vanguard Tactics?
I don't know.
So they're like a 40k coaching thing where
they
sort of like you can go and sign up and they'll teach you how to play 40k properly. Maybe we should do it.
We probably should.
And so he runs that section, and they talked about how maneuverability wins you the game.
Yeah.
And he went through all of the secondary missions that you could pull from starting from the first phase, and then basically he went, what units do you need in your army as standard to be able to achieve all of these secondaries in the first turn?
Wow.
And it was really interesting. I'll dig out the article and I'll send a photo to you.
Yeah, it's interesting for selections. It's a level of gaming that I like.
He basically was like, you need to have a unit that can do. It wasn't like pick this unit, unit. It was like you need to have a unit that can do 12 inches.
Yeah. Straight
off the bat to be able to get any objective.
If you pull that.
Yeah.
But then you deploy it in a certain place and you can't get to it anyway.
But you pull you pull those before your deployment. Your first mission turns, you pull them.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So yeah. Anyway, sorry. Hellhound. Probably my favourite vehicle in the entirety of the
I think thematic wise, it really is. I think the unit is a bit average. But
you hurt my heart, Matt. You hurt my heart.
I'm sorry. So we have the Hellhound, comes in at 125 points. Movement 10 inches, toughness 10, 2 up save, 11 wounds, 7 up leadership, and objective control 3. It gets the option of taking 3 different kind of main cannon weapons. So first you have the Chem cannon, which is anti-infantry 2+ and torrent. It's 12-inch range, but D6 plus 1 attacks, strength 2, but it's got anti-infantry 2+, so strength doesn't matter. AP minus 2, damage 2. That's quite nice, not bad.
Yeah.
It also, on the front of the tank, you can take the heavy bolter, heavy flamer, or a multi-melter as well. I won't go over those, but they can go on the front as an extra gun. You also then have the Inferno cannon, which ignores cover and has torrent again. This is 18 inches, so a little bit further away. Also is 2d6 attacks, so maximum of 12. Is strength 6, minus 2 AP, 1 damage. So more dice, less damage per dice, and doesn't have the anti-infantry is the difference, basically. And then lastly, you have the Melter cannon, which has blast, so extra dice per 5. Melter 4, 18 inches, attack D3, so 1 to 3, 4 up to hit, strength 9, minus 4 AP, D6 damage.
On the
Melter.
Sorry, on the chem cannon, I don't understand the anti-infantry 2.
Wounds on a 2.
So you're automatically wounding because it's a torrent weapon.
No,
you're
no,
automatically
that's hitting.
So then, so the strength being
so
so
the strength
shit.
being rubbish doesn't matter.
Okay, that's
which
fine.
is why it gives it a low strength, so you can't use it against like tanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know why it's 2.
Yeah.
It always used to. Whenever they did this, it was always 1, because this is what the old poison or whatever they used to call it.
Yeah.
Rule is basically anti-infantry 2 is it will wound on a 2+
Infantry.
Yeah.
That's kind of lame.
Yeah, the best one to me is the Inferno Cannon. It ignores cover. You don't roll to hit like the Chem Cannon, but it's 2d6, so you've got an opportunity of 12 shots.
Or 2, sorry.
Or 1 or 2, yeah. But it's strength 6, so you've got a decent strength for infantry, which is what it's made for, and -2 AP. It's 1 damage, so it is an infantry killer. It's a squad killer rather than like a high level. The melter being 18, like you need to be within 9 inches to really benefit.
Yeah.
But it's blast.
Blast is nice, an extra dice.
So shooting into
D3 plus 1 or 2 or whatever.
Yeah, D3 plus like a normal 10-man squad, D3 plus 2.
Yeah.
But again, maximum you're going to get there is what, 5 if there's a 10-man squad.
I imagine a melter cannon against like a Terminator squad of 5 is really great. Because D3 plus 1, your strength 9, -4, and then D6 damage.
I do think it depends on
another guard army or against Tyranids.
I think it does depend on who you're playing, right? And what kind of army you're playing. Because going against Tyranids, you're right, metal cannon would be pointless.
Yeah.
Like, as long as you've got other things that can deal with bigger bugs, you want this to go against the 20-man Gribbly squads.
Yeah. I think the Inferno Cannon is where I would go and just use anti-tank elsewhere. With things like the Rogel Dawn accessible.
Yeah.
This thing doesn't need the melter cannon.
No.
Really, unless you're going up against like an armoured infantry kind of army, then I probably wouldn't be putting the melter on it. And the Chem Cannon, D6 plus 1, I think, like, it's got the anti-infantry, which is great, but you're only max going to do 7.
It kind of feels like the Chem Cannon is kind of a fuck you.
It's just like,
yeah.
The Inferno Cannon always used to be the go-to because it was basically like the what was it called? The flamer that was on the Redeemer. It used to be AP3.
Yeah.
So obviously this had Torrent where you'd place the template down, and then Strength 6 AP3 flamer would just melt Marines. So everyone always used to take the Inferno Cannon. So I feel like this is kind of like, cool, there's your anti-infantry, your melters, your anti-tank, and the Chem Cannon has anti-infantry, but it just feels weaker in general. There'll be moments where it's better than the Inferno.
Yeah.
But the Inferno with Strength 6 can hit more things, can hurt more things.
Yeah.
That aren't infantry.
I think the best thing about the kit is that it's the same. Apart from
it just
the
pops in the little end. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can have all 3 easily accessible. And then we have, ability-wise, it has Deadly Demise D6. So obviously it goes boom.
Good.
Which is quite tasty. And then Flush Them Out. So in your shooting phase, after this model has shot, select one enemy unit that was hit by one or more of those attacks. Until the start of your next shooting phase, that unit is scattered. While a unit is scattered, it cannot have the benefit of cover.
That's pretty cool. Thematic. More than, like, usable.
Yeah.
But
basically, a whole load of hot liquid has been shot at them, so they've all scattered.
Yeah.
So now they don't get the benefit of cover, which is quite, even if they're behind cover, which is really cool. And again, that works really well with the Inferno Cannon because you shoot something in cover and it ignores cover.
Yeah.
Whereas the Chem Cannon doesn't.
Which is where it would come in useful with the ability.
So I feel like the Inferno Cannon is the way I would probably go with it.
Yeah.
The only thing to mention is when it's got 1 to 4 wounds remaining, each time this model makes an attack, subtract 1 from the hit roll.
Yeah, that's common across all of the vehicles now.
Yeah, well, I mean, it doesn't matter because if you're bringing the Inferno Cannon or the Chem Cannon, it's got Torrent, so you don't hit. You just automatically hit.
Yeah.
So you just kind of ignore that rule other than for your little heavy bolter or multi-melter at the front. unless if you bring in the melter cannon, that has to hit.
Yeah.
So that's another weakness to that.
Would you take multi-metal with it if you were taking the flavor?
No.
Just take bolter?
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Because you have that ability. It doesn't cost you any extra points. You have that ability to shoot something a bit further away with the... it's only 18 inches, actually, so no.
Yeah, I probably still would over just a heavy bolter.
But it means that you have to be that close to shoot your gun anyway. So you might as well, if you've got one, you might as well shoot it.
Yeah.
So
I think just having the opportunity of, that thing's come close to me because it thinks I've got an anti-infantry gun. Well, actually, I've got this multi-melter. Here's a big load up your ass. I think that would be...
Maybe.
That could work. I mean, again, I don't think the Hellhound's blowing anyone away. It's fine. It's 125 points. Take it or leave it, really. The model is, although it's a plastic kit, it's an online-only model. It's been this design for a very long time. I have a fondness for the kit because I always remember chasing... Ben always used to bring one with the Inferno cannon.
Yes.
And I used to chase it around with my Lone Wolf Terminator with a chain fist. Because it was the only way I could quickly get it killed. Because my long fangs were normally dealing with like a Land Raider or something else. So it was like I'd just always have this vision of that tank getting chased around the board by an angry Space Wolf in Terminator armor. But I loved the Forge World one, was amazing, and I have one of the classic metal ones at home, which had the tanks on the top.
Yes.
That I think is a far better design. But yeah. And they be my 3 units.
Cool.
The chassis is on sale from on eBay for the giant tank on the back instead. But it's only the middle piece that you glue the sides.
I mean, you could easily, with the plastic kit, obviously they give you all the bits because there are barrels in the plastic one. So you just take all that out and just 3D print a massive tank to go in the back. And it would be a very easy conversion to do in this day and age.
Quite.
But yeah.
There must be they got the classic, the classic metal one.
Yeah, that's what I've got.
You have for now.
For right now, I have. Yes.
When you get rid of it, I'll buy it. Cool.
Awesome.
Neil.
Right. Okay. So.
Might need to move your mic a bit closer.
Yes, that is correct, and I can look at you like this.
Yes.
Kind of. So for my 3 choices, my first choice is Lord Marshal Dreyer, or Dreyer, depending on how you pronounce their name. Where to start? I'll start with his stat line. So movement 10, toughness 4, save 4+, in-bun save of 4+, 6 wounds, leadership 7+, and objective control 2.
This is the guy on the non-horse.
This is the guy on the
what are they called? The
whatever.
Krieg things.
They
They
are
got like
called,
bird feet and they look like horses.
Of course, they're just horses. We don't call them anything specific because that would make us heretical.
They are a steed.
Yes.
Hang on, I'll find the name.
Yeah, there will be written somewhere in the law.
I've just got steed on the next one. So, abilities wise, he's got leader, he's got feel no pain 6+. Faction wise, he's got voice of command, so can issue orders. He's got ability called tough to kill. So the first time this model is destroyed, roll a d6 at the end of the phase. On a 2+, set the model back up on the battlefield as close to possible as where it was destroyed and not within engagement range of any enemy, with d3 wounds remaining. So
is that the first time, or just says when
the
it goes
first
down?
time?
Oh, okay, cool.
So
I was gonna say it's not like some zombie that just keeps getting up.
No. So that's the first time, and lead the charge. Each time this model's unit makes a charge move until the end of the turn, melee weapons equipped by models in that unit have the devastating wounds ability.
Oh, okay, cool.
Orders wise, this officer can issue up to 3 orders to regiment units. So rocking in at 100 points, you've got quite a useful character that has a bit of resilience to it. Weapons wise, it's got a las pistol, standard stat line, and the melee weapons are the saber of sacrifice, which is it's,
Got to give it some silly name.
attack 6, weapon skill 2+, strength 6, AP -2, and damage 1, and it's anti-infantry 4+. And then you also get Savage Claws as an extra attack, which is attack 2, weapon skill 4, strength 4, AP -1, damage 1. So you get to make a couple of extra attacks with the Steed's Claws. Can be attached to a unit of Death Riders, which you would want to do.
Yeah, he's going to be leading their
You would
charge.
want to
Isn't he?
do.
Cavalry.
So yeah, for sort of like having it included in the force, you are going to attach it to a unit of Death Riders, max that unit out, and just lead from the front. Charge into units and getting devastating wounds. So every time you roll a 6 up on a wound thing, it's a mortal wound.
Yeah, that's nice. That's very nice.
Model wise, I'm not overly struck.
I kind of like it though. I think he's not in some like glorious pose.
It's very
yes,
either pointing a las pistol or the saber of sacrifice
down at its side, isn't it?
It's out to one side.
Oh,
Pointed.
is it?
It's just like it's there's no
Okay.
sense of movement to the model.
Considering the standard Death Riders are like very dynamic as well, I'd feel like I'd almost want to, I don't know,
Convert it to be the
convert
same.
it, like put it on one of those where at least he's then, if he's leading the squad.
and he could be pointing forwards rather than
Yeah,
out
well,
to
I
one
just
side.
a part of me just kind of thinks if he's going to be in that squad all looks like they're galloping forward,
Yeah,
and he's just standing still pointing.
yeah. It's
Doesn't break my immersion.
yeah. I just it's
So yeah, you make a good point. Actually, it's worse than I thought it was.
it's a well sculpted model. Don't get me wrong. The details are really good in it, and to be fair, most of the new models that they've come out with have got some really good details in. But it lacks that sense of movement.
Do you know what would be good? Taking it off its base, spraying it with a marble effect, and having it as a statue.
Yeah,
I agree.
Pretty expensive statue. But I get what you're saying about the lack of dynamic. Considering, like Matt said, with the horses, they are very dynamic and they look like they're galloping forwards. They look like they're actually moving. Whereas having these, like I'm guessing the intention was to run these horses with him, and just having them, on their own.
Yeah.
Like, it would be a bit weird. Having him surrounded by horses that when he's not moving.
Yeah.
But I think the sculpt is amazing. But him as a dynamic model for an army.
Yeah. I wouldn't choose him as a warlord. He would not be my warlord choice. I'd have somebody else potentially. Right. Because, I mean, you're throwing him at the front of your force to be thematic.
yeah.
Leading a charge. He's the first person to go.
Thing is, what he's got is 3 orders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can issue 3 orders so that he can give those horses some command. He can keep up with the horses
Yeah.
so that they're not running off and not being able to be... Actually, can you even... Are horses regiment units? Maybe you can't even issue orders to them.
They are regiment. Yep.
Oh, cool. So yeah, he can issue 3 orders to them. So he's basically to keep up with them. He's a good commander. Like, he does a good job of it. Like, all right, he's got a las pistol, and all right, he's got a saber of sacrifice, and the horse has claws. If you want to paint 6 up, but then they all do tough to kill. Sorry, have you been through these?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
maybe I was looking at the model. Yeah, he comes back, so he's going to come up, leading the charge.
I think that's really useful because
Yeah.
it's mortal wounds at the end of the day, and depending on how well the squad that he's with does.
Does it say mortal wounds on there?
It's devastating wounds. So devastating wounds.
Oh, sorry.
Gives more.
Gives mortal
Yeah,
wounds on
sorry.
a critical hit.
Sorry.
On a critical hit of wounding.
Yeah.
6. So yeah. So next up are the Death Riders.
The guys that this guy leads.
The guys that this guy leads. So their stat line is movement 10, toughness 4, save 4 up, 2 wounds, leadership 7+, and objective control 1. They rock in at 70 points for 1 ride master and 4 Death Riders.
Okay.
And then you double that, and you get your extra 5 Death Riders, making it into a squad of 10.
10 of these.
I'm sure that's right.
Yep.
That's crazy.
One ride master, 4 Death Riders, 70 points. One ride master, and 5 to 9 Death Riders is 140.
I still don't understand why you'd only have 5.
Yeah.
Unless if they only come in a box of.
They don't come in any boxes at the moment. You can't buy them.
The big box.
You have to get the big box to get them at the moment. I don't know if they're in because there was a combat patrol originally, I thought, but I can't see it now. So I can't see where that is. So they come in the combat patrol.
Fair enough. Abilities wise, they have a thing called a screening line. So once per turn, when an enemy unit ends a normal, advance, or fallback move within 9 inches of this unit, if this unit is not within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units, it can make a normal move of up to 6 inches. So you can use them to kind of block and protect your weaker, sort of more valuable troop choices that have got a better objective control score to sort of hold up enemy lines and use them as a speed bump effectively.
Get
in the way.
Big old screen.
I was wrong. The combat patrol comes with the Attilan Rough Riders, not these.
Fair enough.
But you do get 10 of those. So
the Rough Riders, interesting.
Weapons wise, range weapons, they come with a Death Rider Las carbine, which is an assault weapon, range 18, 2 attacks, BS of 4+, strength 3, 0 AP, 1 damage. And then their melee weapons choices are the Frag Lance, which is a lance weapon, attacks D6, weapon skill 3+, strength 4, AP 0, damage 1. A Power Saber with 3 attacks, weapon skill 3+, strength 4, -2 AP and 1 damage. And then you get extra attacks with the Steed's Claws at 2 attacks, weapon skill 4+, strength 4, -1 AP, 1 damage.
So, why would you take these over the Attilan Rough Riders?
This is my
What's
argument.
the points of Rough Riders?
Rough Riders
Riders are
120 points for a squad of 10.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They come with a hunting lance with a frag tip or a melter tip, depending on. So I think you can decide. Yeah,
you decide each time you make
decide
an attack.
each time you do it. So you can have a frag or a melter tip. With the melter's the one I use. Going against, that's how I blow up a rhino. It's only 1 attack, 3 up, weapon skill, strength 9, -4 AP, D6 damage. So pretty good to just slam into the side of inside of vehicles. Or if you're going against troops, the frag tip, D6 attacks, 3+ weapon skill, strength 4, 1 damage each. So again, 5 of those, 10 of those charging into the side of a 10-man troop choice, D6. So
I wonder if these are a thematic unit to put with Drea.
Yes.
Rather than I'm going to run 5 squads of them, which is why we don't see them yet.
It
Whereas
feels
the
to
Rough
me,
Riders, you can have a load. So if you want to do cavalry, you bring a bunch of Rough Riders and then a unit of these to go with Drea.
Yep.
To get the mortal wounds buff.
Because don't get me wrong, the screening thing is really cool.
Yeah, but you can screen with saving 20 points to do.
The screening allows you to move in the way, right? You can't charge through units.
Yeah.
So they're basically creating an ablative line to prevent you from getting to Drea or getting something better. But the Attilan Rough Riders, their ability is Horsemaster. They can withdraw these units eligible to shoot and declare a charge a turn in which they fell back. So they charge in, get their frag, their
lance
boom off
stuff.
the lance against, and then run away, charge back in again.
Come back in again,
to keep hitting them.
Yeah.
So
it's very much they are. I feel that they are a thematic bodyguard for the Marshal.
Yeah. The only thing I would say, Savage Claws on the Death Riders gets a -1 AP, whereas the Steed's Hooves on Attilan Rough Riders is just a 0 AP.
Yeah. So they've got better punch themselves.
Yeah.
And I think in my last game against Ben, my game against Ben, I think I did more with the Hooves.
Did you?
Than I did with the Melter Lance some turns.
Fair enough.
It's kind of close. Maybe I'm wrong with the. Hang on.
I would
Sure
if you were
there's
gonna build a force and you wanted to have Lord Marshal Drea you'd have a full 10-man squad of these, just
with
so
him
that
at the front.
you can use them as a distraction. You can use them as a speed bump to sort of then help you manoeuvre other stuff, and then back them up possibly with a squad or two of Attilan Rough Riders as your.
That's 100%. I can see I'd have 2 squads of Rough Riders, squad of these guys with Drea, and then all my big guns behind. And you just send the Rough Riders out to target specific things. The Death Riders and Drea are just a big tar pit that can hit pretty hard.
Yeah. And Drea's command range, I think orders are 6 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 inches of the officer. So he can give them to himself and his unit. But 3 unit, you can't. You want him to be close enough to the other horses to be able to give the orders to them as well. If he can do 3, because you can only issue 1 to 1. So really, you want to almost have a cav charge.
Yeah.
Him issuing the orders for like the +1 to attack or whatever.
Yeah.
Them charge in. And him and his squad not charge in.
Yeah.
Send the Attillans in to do the damage on whatever, and then they would retreat. Don't take any negatives to that, and they go and charge something else. Yeah, I think it's interesting.
Yeah, they're a strange unit. I was expecting more bells and whistles for being the new.
It's Krieg, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I get it. Makes a lot of sense actually. It just, I guess, they're very eye catching.
Yeah,
so you
they're
just assume,
amazing. They're beautiful.
Yeah, so you just assume that they'll be like this amazing unit that I want to include, when actually having a unit to go with the guy. But it's really the big guns and the actual infantrymen and everything else that comes with Krieg that you actually want.
Yes. So, speaking of big guns...
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah.
We've got the artillery team.
Yeah.
So...
This is the one on the giant base,
This is a big base.
Yeah.
But we'll get
Why haven't you got one of them, Sam?
We'll get onto this in a minute.
Because you can't buy them separately yet.
I know. Why didn't you buy the big box? Oh,
because of it, so far we've shit on 2 of the units you get. Yes. So I'm not upset that I didn't get the big box.
So stat line wise, it's got movement 3, toughness 7, save 3+, 10 wounds, leadership 7+, and objective control 3.
You are never moving this unit.
You are
never. No.
You're never going to get moved.
You say that, actually. I moved the my other ones because Liam's fucking drop pod was there.
Yeah, but they're like little guns. This is a giant thing.
This is the big gun. So abilities wise, it's got remorseless barrage. So in your shooting phase, after this model is shot, if one or more of those attacks made with an indirect fire weapon scored a hit against an enemy unit, that unit must take a battle shock test. If an infantry unit is hit by one or more attacks made by a multiple rocket launcher, they must subtract 1 from their battle shock test when doing so. So that's possibly a choice, a more of a choice for picking that one as an anti-infantry weapon. Unit compositions, 1 artillery team, and starts off with the model is equipped with heavy mortar, las gun, and crew close combat weapons. So your weapons choices are: you start off with heavy mortar, which has blast, heavy, and indirect fire.
So indirect fire is if you cannot see the model, so you can shoot things you can't see.
Yep.
And if you can't see the model, a unmodified roll of a 1 to 3 always fails.
Yep.
And you should subtract 1 from the hit roll.
Yep.
So it's actually a real big kick in the dick.
Yeah.
However, if you take Scout Sentinels, you layer them together. Scout Sentinels can target what you want to shoot, and then you get to reroll 1s.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, it's got a range of 48, and it is attacks D6 plus 3. It has a ballistic skill of 5+. So you're never going to move it, so that way you get your 4+.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
But you're always going to be hitting on the 5+ at that point until you get in your synergy with other things.
What I would say is my guns are very similar, the same sort of profile, same sort of thing. The first game I played against Liam, I put them in the open where they could see down firing lines.
Yeah.
And then they got deep struck on by a giant fucking Tyranid bio thing. So it didn't really play out very well for me. And then in the second game, I hid them behind a rock, and actually the hamstring of not being able to see things is too high. I think you do need to just be bold, place them in the open. Like, they're pretty resilient. Like 10 wounds, 10 wounds for this thing. Like, it's got to take some serious hit before you get it. It's a 3-up save.
Yeah.
So I would be brave and just deploy it in the middle of the open, so you can far back.
Yeah.
But don't hamstring yourself to put it behind a building because you think, I don't want to get seen.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, ballistic skill 5+, strength 8, AP -1 and 2 damage. The heavy mortar can be changed out for heavy quad launcher, the multiple rocket launcher, or the siege cannon. So the heavy quad launcher, same range, 48. In fact, the multiple rocket launcher and the siege cannon also have a 48-inch range. They all have blast, they all have heavy, and they all have indirect fire.
Oh, okay, cool.
The quad launcher has twin linked,
Which is reroll to wounds, right? Not to hits anymore.
Yeah, it's different now.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It's to wounds. Which, yeah. I mean, it makes sense in this because you can't reroll your hits.
Yeah.
No, you can reroll your hits. Yeah, you can reroll it. Sorry, ignore me.
So it has attacks 2d6, BS 5+, strength 5, AP 0, and 1 damage.
2d6 is tasty, but lower strength.
It's obviously it's blast, so you get your extra dice for anything.
Yeah, so typically 10-man tack squad, so 2d6 plus 1.
Yeah.
2, sorry.
But I don't know. I'm undecided about that one.
I've rolled double ones more than not, so yeah.
So next up is the multiple rocket launcher. The only difference this one has is it has anti-infantry 3+.
Nice.
So attacks is d6 plus 3, ballistic of 5+, strength 2,
Bullshit.
AP -1, damage 1.
I don't know why you'd ever take this.
So this is the one where if you're making attacks against infantry and it's hit by this, they have to make that battle shock check test -1 from it.
Yeah. So more chance to make them not hold objectives
and battle shock them. Yeah.
Lower strength. Okay. I still don't think I'd ever take this.
It's the least possible choice potentially.
They all have their choices looking at them.
Whereas the next one, Neil.
The next one, yes. So the next one is the siege cannons.
Yes.
So it's attacks d6, ballistic of 5+, strength 12, AP -2, damage 3.
It's also 48 inches.
I'm very disappointed.
They're all 48 inches.
They are. Sorry,
apart
yes,
from the last
you are
cannon.
right.
I'm disappointed by that for this. I feel like it should be further.
As in 72 or something?
Yeah, but I get why they're not doing it because other guns exist that would fulfill that role.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think it's a hard one. They've slotted these guns in.
Yeah.
48, this day and age of 40k as well, 48's hitting anything on the board, really.
Yeah, but it just feels like you have to, I could just put this in the corner of a board.
Yeah, but 48 inches will still hit 90% of that board.
How big are boards diagonal corner to corner now?
Like 5.
They're 60 inches by 40 inches, right?
44.
44 by
60.
By 60.
So you're going to hit
12
hit
inches.
Things.
Majority, yeah, I guess so.
So you're creating a sort of
a 12-inch bubble that you can't hit.
An area where you're just like,
if they're in that corner, if they're in the opposite corner to you, there's not an objective there. Yeah,
very true.
They're not doing anything that you care about.
Exactly.
I do like the siege cannon though.
The siege cannon's the best one.
It's definitely the anti-tank weapon, and also very useful for probably killing Terminators as well.
Yeah, it'd be amazing for elite units.
You've got to pick the right things: vehicles or elite units.
Yeah,
D6 is far too low number of dice you're going to be able to use for this. So you need to go for either Terminators or elites or vehicles.
Yeah. Vehicles, yeah.
The 12 strength 12 it's a vehicle killer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or a demon prince.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for me. It's either I would go siege cannon for hunting those things, or the heavy mortar for men.
Why not take both? Get two of them.
Both, yeah.
Yeah.
It's only 95 points.
Yeah, I mean the heavy mortar can obviously hit other things as well. It's strength 8.
Yeah.
But
I would probably take the heavy mortar if I could only pick one. heavy mortar would be.
Yeah, quad launcher's really good for just infantry, but with no minus to the AP and only 1 damage, Marines won't care that much.
Yeah.
Whereas a heavy mortar kills a Marine outright.
What I don't particularly like about this is the model.
Really?
Like the model is nice, don't get me wrong, but the fact that it is so Krieg that taking it for Cadians, like the wheels, for example. Forget the guys on there, fine. I can buy a box of 10 Cadians.
I was going to say,
that.
yeah.
Like I've got a box of 10 Cadians somewhere that could be used exactly for this reason. But the wheels are very different to the wheels on the other guns. The wheels on the other guns are like tyres, where these are like metal trundle wheels.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like so
you're now having to try and change that.
Yeah.
I really like the model.
I think the model was great.
It's nice.
Like it.
It's nice, but it just if you're playing Krieg,
Oh, it's
brilliant.
very Krieg. Yeah.
If you're playing any other army, you
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
work to make it work.
I think you could get away with it. I think because let's say you're playing again, going back to Valhallans. This is a very Valhallan type gun. They're very artillery and mass infantry.
Yeah.
You're using third party or old metal miniatures or whatever. This aesthetic with the metal wheels and stuff fits them still fine.
Yeah.
But when you're trying to go more mainstream, like Cadian for you, where things are more tyres, tracks, like that aesthetic is very different. And so it stands out like weird.
Yeah.
Even with, your Cadian appropriate men on it.
Yeah. What I have seen is I've seen someone have this hooked up to the back of a Taurox because the arms on the back of them go in, they're pivot points, and they go into basically a pinch point which go around a connection that already exists on the Taurox.
Oh, really?
So basically you can connect them to the back of the Tauroxes and then have them being towed behind like actual vehicles.
That's cool.
I've seen that a few times, and I thought that'd be really cool for like if you were doing, I don't know, a vehicle or protect the gun or
it'd be really fun.
Terrain looking thing for your board.
Okay.
But they live on bases, so
Yeah.
I
particularly sorry, I keep seeing Kelly go past.
What did she do?
Yeah, I caught something in my eye and then realised it was Kelly.
I particularly like there's a guy that's got like a weird rangefinder.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah. I think there's so much character in it in what could easily be a characterless model.
Yeah.
Like it's just a big gun on a base, right? But actually the men really have a lot of character to them.
They've added that sort of like, it's not just about the gun, it's the crew that are with them as well.
Yeah, and actually it being on a base means you can be a bit more thematic. You could put shell casings. Yeah. You could have a lunchbox, like a metal toolbox, all these different things.
And some of the kits coming out of this, like so some of the builds coming out of this on like Instagram are nuts. Like where they've been built into the side of buildings and and I get it, like it's not really what I do. The gun doesn't live in a building, but I think it's really cool the way people have kind of let their imagination go. Yeah. I'm just trying to find the vehicle one if I can see it.
But no, it's cool. I like it. I like it a lot.
Maybe I could just paint the silver bit black. Nah, it'd be weird. I need to figure out how to do wheels. They're cool though.
Yeah.
Oh, this dude here's done it. There we go. He's done a conversion.
Cool.
Do you reckon
It's too small.
do you reckon the?
Has he not done use the sandbags?
No, he hasn't.
No.
Do you think you could use the wheels from Zinj Industries?
Quite possibly.
Because you can buy the wheels individually.
Yeah, the ones for the Taurus probably be too small.
I have to measure it up.
But
I will get one of these. At the moment, I'm trying to suppress the. It sounds awful. I'm kind of done with 30k at the moment, and I'm kind of holding on because I'm going to an event. But I'm trying desperately not to just go full ham into KDs.
Yeah, I always find so when I really wanted to get into 40k, we had our event coming up and everything, and so that I was drawn away from it. I'm now at the point where I've now got the opposite issue of I kind of really want to get into 40k, but I've got a heresy event coming up, so I need it's like whenever the thing I really want to do, there's the other thing, and it's like sometimes I do think, why do I still try and do both? Why am I still there? But it's because we enjoy it and it's great, and ultimately it's fine. Like, flying 2 Thanatars. What am I thinking?
You mad crazy.
Right, Sam, why don't you take us through your last few selections, and then we'll round out with whatever you've got to round us out with.
Cool. Was we doing the Krieg infantrymen?
I don't know.
I don't think they were listed.
Did they not listed? No. Okay, that's fine. I must have forgotten.
That was 3, right?
I did 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Horses. Yeah. I would definitely chose the horses over.
Yeah. I mean, the men are they're standard men. They're very similar to the jungle fighters. They're
They've
10
got
men,
shovels.
can be 20. Yeah, they can take some slightly different special rules, special weapons. Med kits, because they can bring people back from the dead. Individual models.
So can Krieg, Cadian shock troopers. Yeah. Right, so I'm going to start with Ursula Creed. We're then going to go on to the shock troopers themselves. And we're going to round out there. So I'm only going to do 2 units. I feel like that's enough.
Yeah. Then we'll have your closing thoughts.
Ursula Creed. So Ursula Creed is a 6-inch movement, toughness 3, save of 4 up, wounds 4 up, leadership 7, 1 objective control. She has an invulnerable save of 5 up. She has 2 weapons, one range, one melee. The range weapon is called Duty and Vengeance. It's 2 pistols on her hips. 12-inch range. 4 attacks, BS 3 up, strength 5, minus 2 AP, 1 damage. It's definitely a Desert Eagle style big old pistol sort of shot.
Yeah, revolver.
But it's a pistol, which is good because it means you can shoot it in combat.
Yes.
Because if you would, her melee weapon is just a power weapon. It's a 4 attacks, 3 up weapon skill, strength 4, minus 2 AP, 1 damage. She is, of course, a leader, so she can lead a command squad. Leader squad. She has voice of command, which gives her access to all of the orders, the standard orders. Because she is a Lord Castellan, not just a Cadian Castellan. Yep. There we go. She's a Lord Castellan. While this model was leading a unit, that unit can be affected up to 2 different orders at the same time. So where we said before, only units can be affected by 1. This one can have 2 because she's there, because she's super, super cool. She's also a tactical genius. So once per battle round, 1 unit from your army with this ability can use it once per battle round, 1 unit from your army with this ability can use it when a friendly regiment unit within 12 inches of that model is targeted with a stratagem. If it does, reduce the CP cost of the usage of the stratagem by 1 CP. This is slightly changed. It used to be reduce it to 0. Then they realised that's a bit much. Let's go back to reduce it by 1. So your reinforcements now cost you 1 CP as long as they're in 12 inches of Creed, or you can use any other ones to 1. Unfortunately, you can't use it to get them to 0. So all your 1 CP ones, you kind of stuff
it's always 1.
It's always 1. So like rerolls, which is what it was used for before, I think, and I think that's probably why I changed it. Is because all these rerolls can be reused.
Yeah.
Which is cool. She can lead Cadian shock troopers or Cassicans, so she's got some restrictions. Most leaders have restrictions as to who they can lead.
Mm-hmm.
So she can do Cadian shock troops or Cassicans. She can, as an officer, can issue up to 3 orders to regiment units. So 2 to herself, 1 to someone else. With guard, and from my very limited experience of that, the ability to issue orders is more important than where they are, because you have Vox casters, which means you can get 24-inch range, etc., etc., etc. But yeah, that is her. That is Ursula Creed. Cool. Pretty simple, straightforward. She's there as a tactical genius. She's not there to fight. She basically stands with her squad and just lets them benefit from her 3 order or 2 orders, and then she shoots her other order at someone else. Cool. Next up, Cadian shock troopers. These are just bog standard troop choices, but they come with a lot of customization. So movement 6, toughness 3, 5 up save, 1 wound, leadership 7, objective control 2. The reason why these are quite cool is because all of a sudden objective control 2, if you're taking a 20-man squad of these, you've got 40 objective control sitting on an objective and being like, come at me, bro.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
Yeah,
insanely cool. So we'll go through. We're not going to go through all the guns. We'll go through the unit composition. That will do it. So you can have 1 shock trooper sergeant with 9 shock troopers, or you can have 2 shock trooper sergeants with 18 shock troopers.
Yeah.
For every shock trooper sergeant is equipped with a las pistol and chainsaw. For every shock trooper, he's equipped with a las gun, close combat weapon. You can have 2 leaders attached to it, provided no more than one of those units is a command squad. And if it does, fine, that's fine. We're not going through that. It is 65 points for the 10-man squad and 120 points for the 20-man squad.
Yeah, I think all 3 of the troops are exactly the same pointers.
Interesting.
Which the belief behind that is, or my understanding of why that is because you can't put a 20-man squad in a vehicle.
Yeah.
Therefore, it gives you a bit of a discount for taking a larger squad.
Yeah, no,
whereas
makes
a 10-man squad, you can whack in, therefore a little bit of a bit of an extra toughness, a bit of an extra charge on top of that. War gear options. So for every 10 models in the unit, up to 2 shock troopers can each have their las gun replaced with a flamer, a grenade launcher, a metal gun, or a plasma gun. You cannot select the same weapon more than once per unit unless it contains 20 models. You can't take 2 melters, 2 plasmas, 2 flamers unless you get to the point where you're doing it for 4. For every 10 models in the unit, 1 shock trooper equipped with a las gun can be equipped with a vox caster. That model's las gun cannot be replaced, so you can't have a vox caster plasma guy.
Yep.
Any number of shock troopers sergeants can have their las pistols replaced with 1 bolt pistol. For any number of shock trooper sergeants, each can have their las pistol chainsword replaced with 1 sergeant's autogun and 1 close combat weapon. And we've gone through that already. So the way that I run mine with a 20-man squad.
Yep.
2 sergeants.
Yep.
2 vox casters.
Yep.
2 flamers. 2 melters. Everybody else has standard guns. The reason for that is mainly because of the recommendation from watching other battle reports about it. The flamers are quite nice in Overwatch for close combat, so having those there. Melter's quite good because you don't want they can take stuff big down with a couple of shots if they're that close to you. Everyone else has las guns because of the rapid fire abilities and the orders you can put on to affect rapid fire. But yeah, so pretty good. I run my sergeants with auto guns, the sergeant auto guns, which look like Tommy guns, like old school Tommy guns. They are 24-inch range, 2 attacks each, 4+ BS, 3 up strength, and 1 damage.
Nice.
Just some nice amount of hits. You could go and put plasma pistols on if you wanted to. I mean, it's 24 inches. It's less shots. There's an opportunity to blow your arm off. The way I run my squads is more about amount of fire.
Yeah, it's all
weight of fire as opposed to
rather than high strength. Apart from the melters, they're the ones where I kind of charge them towards something else. The command squads that go with them, because I normally run them with 20 man, a command squad, and then a character. The command squad, they have they have plasma pistols on their sergeants and stuff for the heavy ones. But this pure 20 man that can come back if they die, I run pretty bare bones on the sergeants. Well, normal DACA sort of loadout. Now, abilities. So they have the shock trooper ability. At the end of your command phase, if this unit is in range of an objective marker you control, the objective marker remains under your control, even if you have no models within range of it, until your opponent controls it at the start or end of a turn. So effectively, you have sticky objectives.
Yeah.
I start the start on my own objective. I stick my flag in that objective, and then I fuck off somewhere else.
Yeah.
And go and claim another one, and then be like, cool, come take it. That's fine, but it's in my deployment. It's far away, so instantly starting to score, which is pretty cool. And the Vox cast is kind of the only thing. So each time the bearer's unit with a strategy, each time you target the bearer's unit with a stratagem, roll a d6, adding 1 to the result. If there are more than one or more friendly officer models within 6 inches, and on a 5-up, you gain 1 CP.
Oh, okay.
So Ursula Creed drops it by 1 CP. This can give you another CP back. So if you are doing those 2 CP ones, then you get your.
It's basically
your
free.
Yeah. But you have to remember to do it.
Yes,
it's the main thing.
Yeah.
I sense that maybe you forgot.
It's just so. I mean, that's quite a nice little segue into my thoughts. So, I was saying to Matt in the break, I love playing guard at the moment. They're really great, but there's so many layers to know and to remember, which I'm not good at. So I feel like every game I'm learning something new.
Yeah.
I'm just trying at the moment in the point where I'm trying not to do things wrong. So before I was deploying, where I was looking at officers that can do, well, this one could do 1, that one could do 1. I was giving squads multiple orders per turn, which is obviously wrong. So that's not fair or right. So I need to, that was a learning curve. So I figured that one out. I definitely think things to think about. I definitely think of important considerations. Command points. So stratagem costs command points to use. And obviously command points limited. You get 1 at the start of every player turn. Stratagems are quite important to the way guard works, same as the orders. And being cognizant of what orders or what stratagems you can play and the benefit of those is really important to maximise the benefit of the guard. Because otherwise, they are just t-shirt saves. They are just low leadership, high save models that will just die if you get shot at. So you need to remember the things that benefit them. the stratagems specify which type of unit you can target, so regiment or squadron, which is a bit of a limiting factor. And sometimes if you don't read it right, I've been caught out by going, I'm going to do this, and go, actually, I can't now because it's not the right unit type. And then detachment restrictions. Some stratagems are exclusive to detachments. So obviously we're building armies around those particular detachments. That's why I've gone with the general one to start with, because I already had my army planned before the new codex came out.
Yes.
And I thought, well, none of it really factors into anything specific, so the general one is probably quite good. And actually, to be honest, I actually really like the general.
Yeah.
The general detachment, it works way better. I would say as a newer guard player, the best things I've done are buy the metal trays, so I can move models around quickly rather than having to move them slowly. Also, it's way easier to pull off 5 guys that are dead at a time rather than having to put it out. And yeah, it's been fun. It's been a fun journey so far. I'm looking forward to getting some more units. I've already started expanding with my Kazakins. I've got a squad of, I think, 6 Ogrins to throw in. I've got 2 Valkyries in the loft. To use that I could repaint for those. Like, I've got lots of units that can be recategorized into the guard, so I'm excited to try and just get some stuff painted and experiment with them a little bit. But that's it. That's the faction focus. A bit longer. First one. Let us know how you think we've gone. What you'd like to see, what we didn't do, what we've done, and you perhaps didn't like that we did. And thank you very much. We're going to take a quick break, come back with our closing thoughts, and that's the show.
Yeah. Do you want to paint some models? Come on, let's go and paint. They're always sitting on the shelf. They won't paint themselves. Do you want them to stay all grey? Hi, I'm Matt, and you may remember me from such things as Pessimist or Realist, you decide. Laziness, the hobby killer, and the burning of Hivani Prime. I'm here to tell you about the monthly hobby hangouts that we host online. These run usually the last Sunday of every month from 8 PM UK time, where you will be greeted by one of the podcast hosts. Every month is a blast with lots of chatter around the hobby as well as wider life in a friendly atmosphere. Some of us get a decent amount of hobby done, but by no means is that the must for these hangouts. We post updates and links to these events through our Facebook safe room and Discord channel, so jump on those to join in with other members of the Adeptus Terra community. We hope to see you there. Welcome back. This is the round out of the episode. Hope you enjoyed this episode. We've had a brand new segment in the faction focus. I think Sam did it justice. It's good to have a baseline, so now when we do future ones, we have got an idea of how to do it as well. Any feedback on that, we'd love to hear it. So do get in touch with us through Facebook on Community Safe Room. Direct email if you would like, the Adeptus Terra podcast @gmail.com, or come and join our Discord server. There should be an invite in the postings of our episodes. Come and join in with the chats there. Quick reminder, our next hobby hangout will be the 27th of April from 8 PM onwards. There's always at least one of us there to hang out and do some hobby. So yeah, come and get involved, whether you attend before or whether you've never attended. They're a great evening of just hanging out, talking 40k, heresy, and getting some hobby done. So do jump in on that. Anything else to add, gentlemen?
No, I don't think so.
No.
Good. Well then, it's been another month. Will be interesting to see what we can get up to in April.
Hopefully some Death Guard.
Yes, 100% some Death Guard. Some Kill Team games. I was going to say hopefully, but we must play some Kill Team. And I'm going to have a 40k game definitely next week, so I'm looking forward to that as well. So you get to hear about all these things in the next instalment, but until then, I've been Matt.
I've been Sam.
And I've been Neil.
And this has been the Adeptus Terra podcast.
Peace.
Bye.
Whatever.